the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
Jason Gregor Show.
The 0-2 to play. Ball to left field. This is deep, and this is going to go. His first home run as a Blue Jay makes it a one-run game.
On Sports 1440.
Celebrini takes his pass. Sharp angle shot, he scores. Macklin Celebrini with his 25th of the season as he put it either posted in or crossbar in, and the Sharks have a 1-0 lead.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Center field. Off the wall. Kirk is in to score. Springer's rounding third, and he'll score. Wilson Barger delivers.
Just after 2 o'clock, it is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, also streaming on Oilers Nation Facebook, YouTube, and X. Hit that like button if you are watching right now. The Jason Gregor Show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Tomorrow, Lotto Max, an estimated $30 million. Also, the Daily Grand $1,000 a day draw tonight. That's 20 years, $7.3 million. Go get your ticket at PlayAlberta.ca. Remember, use your game sense, GameSenseAB.ca. Connor Halley sitting in for Jason Gregor once again. Jason on vacation. He will return on Tuesday as we really get into the fall sport season. NFL will be getting going. You'll have the NBA and NHL camps. We get into Major League Baseball playoffs, CFL playoffs. It's a really good time coming up in the sports year, but it's a good time right now and lots to get to on our show today. Of course, coming up at about 2:20, we'll be joined by John Hodge from 3 Down Nation. Take a look at the CFL Labor Day Classics coming up over the weekend. Edmonton down in Calgary, taking on the Stamps on Monday. 2:40 Thursday, that means Sherbrooke Liquors' David Owens will be dropping by for Thirsty Thursday. We'll sample some nice little beverages there. We'll be joined by Braden Fajoko as well, former NFLer, still current NFLer. He was just released by the Pittsburgh Steelers last week, so he's still probably ready to go if called upon, and I think that's probably going to happen. We see so many injuries in the NFL, but Braden, good run with the Chargers, went to the Steelers, a member of the 2019 LSU National Championship team. That featured Joe Burrow, pretty good player. Jamar Chase, pretty good player. Justin Jefferson, pretty good player. Even Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who just recently signed with the Chiefs again, pretty good player. So we're going to talk to Braden about just his thoughts on the league right now. He's still got some really good stuff going on X, just about the opportunity and how much going to the right situation matters versus maybe going to a team where, they might pay the most. Like going to the spot where you're going to get opportunity chances, getting coached up well, got to be priority. And he was an undrafted free agent. So we'll talk to him about that. We're also going to be joined by Lena Betker. She's with the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton. For those who don't know, unfortunately, they lost some funding in the last little while here. So we've got a really good initiative going on this show. Big shout out to Amalgamated Mining for donating 2 tickets to tomorrow night's Lainey Wilson concert down at Rogers Place. 2 tickets. Chairman's Club in Section 101. That comes with free parking and dinner. So right now we're doing an auction. You can text in 1-833-401-1440. Of course, all money raised will go to SACE, the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton. Right now, goalie Greg has it at $1,000. I think we can get that number up a little bit more. It's going to a great cause. And of course, if country music isn't your thing, or maybe that's just a little bit too expensive for you, you still want to make a donation, you can go to www.sace, that's SACE.ca to make a donation. And they need money. Got to help out survivors of sexual assault. So if you want to go do that, we highly recommend it. And if you got a bid more than $1,000, text it, 1-833-401-1440 at 4 o'clock. Terry Ryan will join us, former NHLer. We'll talk maybe a little bit about his story. We have a former undrafted free agent that made it to the pros. We've got a first-round pick who played in the pros. So TR can talk about that. Shang Peng will come by, talk some San Jose Sharks, Macklin Celebrini, year 2. What are the expectations for San Jose? another bad year maybe wouldn't be the worst thing. That Gavin McKenna kid, allegedly pretty dang good. Maybe being a lottery team wouldn't be the worst thing there. And then at 5 o'clock, we'll have Mark Spector joining us of Rogers Sportsnet. Of course, you can always get in touch with us on the show. The eWell inbox, 1-833-401-1440. Score with your power play partners at eWell. Get all your electrical needs at ewell.ca with 24/7 ordering and shipping in Edmonton and across Alberta. Text line here checking in. A lot of people saying hello, how you doing? And we want to get the text rolling in, 1-833-401-1440. As we mentioned here in the CFL, Labor Day going to get going on Sunday. It's kind of an interesting one. You know, Saturday, CFL will take a break, but there's going to be tons of college football on for you to watch if you are kind of a sicko like a lot of us here at Sports 1440. Then on Sunday, you've got Winnipeg and Saskatchewan. Should be a fun one. The Rough Riders coming off a surprising loss to the Calgary Stampeders. Stamps showing that they can play, obviously. And when they have Vernon Adams in the lineup, that's a good football team. Then on Monday, you got Hamilton and Toronto. That will be a 12:30 start to kick things off. And of course, the doubleheader, 4 o'clock kickoff down in Calgary at McMahon Stadium. Some people say it's a box factory. That's what it reminds me of. It's not the best stadium in the CFL, but it should be home for a really good football game with the Elks taking on the Stamps. If you're not going down there, you want to come watch the game, maybe head over to On the Rocks. We got the Elks watch party that I'll be hosting kickoff at 4 o'clock. For the Edmonton Elks, the last little while here, it's been some struggles and some injuries for this team. Making some changes, adding players onto the injured list. Robbie Smith going on the 6-game IL, which not ideal. I mean, obviously he had been back in the lineup and now back to the IL. And then you've also got Stephen Dunbar Jr. Going on the 6-game injured list. So Stephen Dunbar Jr., I mean, we know what he can do. Guy is a threat on the field. But for the Edmonton Elks, I think they do have some options at receiver, some good depth, and we'll continue to roll out that way. After the Labor Day Classic on the Tuesday, Sports 1440 is going to be streaming on YouTube throughout the entirety of the day. So like I've said in the past, a lot of people wanted Kevin Karras back on the screen. He's a TV guy. He was a TV guy for a long time. He made the switch to radio, but now you can watch him once again from 7 to 11 on Sports 1440's official YouTube channel. That's Sports 1440 AM on YouTube. Go subscribe. Then you get Fantasy Frenzy, so you get me and the Duke, which wasn't the top priority for a lot of people, but we kind of slid it in there as well. And then from noon to 2, another very popular one, Alan Mitchell, the host of the Lowdown Flow Tide on YouTube. So make sure you go check out our YouTube channel, Sports 1440 AM. Donovan Paulson along with me here, as is Josh Fenwick. And Donovan, you know it. A lot of people want Tide on YouTube, and it's finally happening.
Oh, you have no idea how many people want Tide on YouTube. That is basically the most requested thing on the station right now is, can we see Low Tide? Can we see his face? Where is Low Tide? Well, I mean, Low Tide thinks it's, I mean, he's not exactly, he thinks there's a lot more attractive people that you can be looking at during the show. But I mean, Low Tide's fan base. It is, it's enormous. So you're going to get to see Low Tide. You're going to get to see Karras. You're going to get to see, I mean, hell, even myself from time to time. And maybe we can have like a most handsome poll at the end of the first day.
Who's the most handsome? Who do you think is good looking? I mean, maybe that might hurt some feelings along the way. I don't know about that one, but I feel like I did see Low Tide like putting on a little bit of makeup there.
Oh yeah, he had the powders going. He had the foundations, all those things that are necessary for Low Tide to get looking at his best. I'm expecting a tux next week from Low Tide.
Oh yeah, he's gonna step up his game, and I feel like Karras might be in a similar fashion. Former TV guy, knows how to put on makeup. Just clean it up a little bit, maybe like on the cheeks or the chin. I think that's something that those TV guys do. Wanye Gret's also going to be here for the next 2.5 hours. I kind of made the joke yesterday. He left at 4:20. It wasn't for the reason you think. He went to go pick up his son. Wanye, thanks for joining us here in studio once again.
Best looking contest, hey? It's tough. How do you choose between 10s?
Ranking the Sports 1440 men.
Now, as the guy who really pushed Gregor to get all the shows onto YouTube, I didn't think this through far enough about how do I stay off YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, you come in, you tilt the camera down.
Can we keep doing that?
I think so. I think we have to.
I think we have to.
Unless you want to do face reveal.
No.
If the Oilers won the cup, would you do a face reveal?
No.
Nothing would do it?
Nothing in this world. The genie stays in the bottle. I love Oilers fans more than anybody. When I see the amount of people that Waz stops and talks to in your Amtrak, great folks, and they bug them, I'm like, man, I'm glad I used a fake name the whole time, because you guys are made to be famous, you 1440 boys, but not me. I'm just a computer programmer.
JP says, hey, Wanye, people know who you are.
Yeah.
Some people.
Are you helping, JP, or are we hurting the situation?
People have asked me, what does Wanye look like? Is he a good-looking man? And I say, he might be.
He might be.
He
You're
was
assuming my gender.
before the incident.
Yeah.
Yeah, then big things happened.
When that eagle flew away with his eyeball.
Lance says you should wear a luchador mask, Wanye, 1440 themed luchador. That'd be pretty cool, actually. I liked when I used to be the host of Oilers Nation After Dark before Borgie took over, which I think improved the show. We would have Big Milk come on.
Yeah.
And he would come on and he would use like the voice modifier sometimes and have a good time with that. It was always entertaining.
Bag Milk and I decided when Oilers Nation started many thousand years ago, we're like, agreed we're doing this anonymously? Yes. And we were supposed to never even talk. We didn't want anyone to know what we sounded like. We didn't want to do anything. Now in 2025, when I look at the amount of photos my boy Bag Milk is in,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not fake. It's fake. He's not hidden anymore.
He's not. I saw a certain wedding photo popping up. I'm like, oh, could he be one of those guys? Because you do the elimination
Of
from
course.
Oilers Nation and,
17 years in this blogging game, Connor. Not one photo.
you've avoided it.
Every single one.
You're like Connor McDavid when he's out and about and like hides his drink. You just hide the face.
I'm a face, man.
It's smart. Skippy says, first you are out on streaming, then next will be the Hunks of 1440 calendar.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it'll be the worst selling calendar of all time.
Not true.
No one would buy it.
I would.
One sold.
Just sitting there looking at March all the time.
Just like in our studio, just thinking. Yeah, good one. Text line 1-833-414-1440. You can also email if you'd like. Connor at sports1440.ca. We are going to talk a little bit on the show here. We got Brandon Foco coming up, a former LA Charger, former Pittsburgh Steeler, Wanye, an undrafted free agent, and he's got some good tweets going on right now, just talking about like the proper fit for players. And you always see that, like, undrafted free agent, you could probably sign with any team, right? But there's got to be so many teams where there's not much chance you have to make it. Like, realistically, I feel like if you're an undrafted free agent at a lot of different levels, you got to find a team that has weaknesses and say, you know what, play in this first contract for a low amount, but this is a team that gives me opportunity. So the opportunity is going to be there to earn that second contract. And that's when you get a little bit more stability. But I've seen it many times, like where you'll see an undrafted free agent sign with a team that has really good depth and he's a receiver, signs with the team with good receiver depth. Even if you make plays, your opportunity to get on the field is not going to be there in the regular season. So I want to talk to him about that. And then also, he played with some really good teams. He's played with Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, coached by Mike Tomlin. Like, anytime you get these former players, and he's not like, he was released last week by the Steelers. He's still active. I'm sure he's still working out every day, waiting for that phone call. It's going to come, but looking forward to talking to a pro.
Guest.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. TR is going to be by, of course. He was a first-round pick. Opposite end of the spectrum there of given the opportunity when you show up, everybody's watching you for someone who's an undrafted free agent. And yeah, maybe we'll get into some of the undrafted free agent talk as well. Elks down in Calgary for Labor Day.
Come on.
What are you thinking? You gonna get down for that one? Or maybe you come to On the Rocks and watch with me at the watch party.
I heard from an Elks Nation team member. She was like, I went to the watch party that Connor was at, and it was so busy.
It's packed.
Unbelievable.
I was at Billy Bud's.
You're doing a great job.
Well, I don't think it's me, but you got locations with good food, good beer, good football, and tons of prizes from the Elks. That's all we want.
And then somebody said, you guys are already doing watch parties? I'm like, yeah, we're already at like year 8 of the Nation Network business plan in month 3. And then somebody else walked by and was like, no, that's Connor with 1440 doing parties. They've been doing them for years.
Yeah. You'll get there.
Well, they'll be the same party, Connor.
It is funny, though, because I do talk to members of the Elks organization. They're like, hey, how is Elks Nation?
What do you say?
And I say, well, I have nothing to do with it.
Oh,
I'm not
say
involved.
It's great.
Well, I say it's great, and it's good people, of course. Eddie Steele and Declan crushing it on the pods and the video on YouTube, but I don't participate. I'm not in it.
Endorse us, brother.
Well, I try.
Okay.
I do, but I'm just saying, like, if they're like ever getting mad about it,
Oh,
something's a little too real. I just say no. I don't have any association.
we're the realist.
I'm just a watcher.
We're the realist.
Danny YYC says 1440 hotties with cats calendar could sell like hotcakes. Well, the Duke has 2 cats. Maybe it's all the Duke with his cats. And like in Halloween, it can be they meet a pumpkin, and
Now that's actually a good idea.
Christmas.
Nothing sells better
Gingerbread
than
house.
a gag calendar.
Yeah, it'd be hilarious. King of Four Nasty says, I have no idea who Wanye is. I can't creep him out anywhere. It's killing me.
You and that parole officer can't figure anything out.
Sean says, I don't know Wanye, but if I had to guess, I picture a guy that made just enough money to not really work anymore. Drives an old Cadillac around, unmarried, with 1 kid, living in a downtown penthouse. But not any penthouse, one that is brick and mortar, and still has finishes from the 80s. Makes his weekly appearance on 1440 and golfs at mediocre golf courses twice a week. Because a real golf course isn't worth it. That's my take. Am I close?
Ouch. No.
You bought a new vehicle a while ago, but not a caddy.
No.
You don't live downtown.
I'm not retired.
You're not retired.
I'm very much working.
You make so much money you don't have to work, but you choose to.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I do like working. It doesn't feel like work when you get to do sports stuff.
No, I mean, you're right. I was just telling the Duke earlier today on Fantasy Frenzy that I started to get back into LinkedIn,
Oh, yeah.
and my picture has like a little filter that says open to work. I don't know how to get rid of it.
Oh, no.
So I'm like, I don't want people to like start. No one's offering me jobs, obviously, but I don't want people to think that I'm unhappy here.
Why are you back on LinkedIn?
I don't know. I was like, oh, I'm going to look at this again. And people that I connect with, I got connected with a bunch of people at Stingray here. They like post pictures on vacation and stuff. And I didn't know that's what that like LinkedIn was about. I don't really know what LinkedIn is, but
It's kind of like Facebook for work.
yeah.
But if you're looking for a job, it's the world's business card. Like
Oh.
if you're not on LinkedIn or it's not up to date and you're job hunting or you're open for work as your profile would denote, you got to be on LinkedIn.
Well, I got the app and I get notifications every day and it's really annoying. I might delete it soon and just take my disappearance away.
Do you get to see who's looked at your profile on LinkedIn? That's the funnest part.
I think so, but it's like they want you to pay for it.
You get to see a little bit.
Yeah, like their blurred out image. Like 3 people visited.
Ooh,
Who are you?
who could it be?
And I don't want to creep on people's pages either because then they'll know I'm there. And they're like, this guy can't hire me. What does he want?
This reminds me of Nexopia. Do you remember Nexopia?
Oh, buddy.
The most genius part of Nexopia, in addition to early social networking site, was that you could pay for Nexopia Plus and be invisible on Nexopia.
Yeah.
Because the big thing driving engagement was you could see who looked at your profile. So if you didn't want to be busted as a creep show, as most people were in the mid-aughts, you had to pay for Nexopia Plus.
I was a mod.
You were an Nexopia mod.
I got free Nexopia Plus for like a month or 6 months or something for being a mod in the NFL with the sports forums. So I could block people.
I had a
It
meeting.
lasted one group, like one term. And
You didn't want to do it after?
I think I probably got power hungry and like someone made fun of the Chargers and I'm like, well, you're blocked.
Go straight to his head.
You got a week timeout.
One time I had a meeting at Facebook and I was like, you know what you guys should do? And I broke down Nexopia Plus thinking that they'd be like, oh, we know Nexopia. They're like, never heard of it. I'm like, what they did see was you couldn't be tracked on it. They're like, that's great. Please leave. And I was like, oh, I think this went great.
Didn't work quite as well as you thought.
But LinkedIn took that feature
Yeah.
and ran with it.
Nexopia, like for those old enough, it's pretty solid, especially in Edmonton.
1.8 million
Alberta.
users in Canada before Facebook even launched.
I met a couple good people off Nexopia, like people down in Calgary. We'd go hang out with them on Labor Day. NFL fans, good dudes. Still follow them on Facebook.
I have a Nexopia hoodie. We used to share an office with them. And when they went down, I bought up all the merch because I wanted to wear it. And I'll still wear Nexopia because your mom's on Facebook, it says.
That was a good joke.
Oh, it was a good shirt.
Lance says he went to high school with a guy who started Nexopia. Now works for Google.
Timo
Edwards. You know him.
Genius.
Yeah. Sounds like
Genius.
it. We should get him in 1440.
Oh, he's a cool guy. Yeah, he works for Google. Those are the days when, Connor, you used to have a server room like you guys here at 1440 have.
Yeah.
So if you started up any website, no matter what, there was no cloud hosting. So you had to go buy like racks of hardware. And I was hanging out with that guy one time and he was telling me he was in high school having invented Nexopia. And when his exams were over, The site was so much bigger than when his final exam started. He had to go buy servers in the summer. He did it big. That guy's a real genius.
Fans on the whole time in those rooms because they get hot.
Oh, yeah.
And especially in this weather right now, a little nerve-wracking. Don't want everything to go down. Not Fred says Sports 1440 tarps off calendar. Carius and Gregor be fighting to see who's on the cover. 3 sold. 1 to Gregor, 1 to Carius, and 1 to Strudwick, just so we can get it signed. Yeah, right. I'd buy 10 just to boost those numbers.
Oh, yeah. I think you'd move units if you had a 1440 charity calendar.
Yeah. Well, we need puppies involved. We got like the SPCA involved or something.
Totally.
What we'll do here is we'll take a break. Lots to get to on this show. Coming up later on. Mark Spector, Shang Pang, Terry Ryan, Lena Beck are going to join us from the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton, doing a fundraiser today. We've got 2 tickets to Laney Wilson tomorrow night in the Chairman's Club, Section 101, that comes with free dinner, which you know is a big value, and parking. All money raised is going to go to the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton, which recently, as you probably know, underwent severe funding cuts. We got to help them raise some money so they can take on new survivors and help them out. So if you want to get your bid in, we're currently at $1,000 from goalie Greg, 1-833-401-1440. And even if that's too much, maybe you're busy, but you still like to make a donation, sace.ca. Go there, donate $20, $50, whatever you can afford, and hopefully we can get a big push today here to help out SACE. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, Facebook, YouTube, and X, brought to you by playalberta.ca.
Ah, Hawaii. The warmth of a golden sunset as the waves roll in. The freshness of a waterfall. A lush scent of tropical flowers in the air. You don't need to travel to enjoy all Hawaii has to offer. You just need to order pizza. Bring Hawaii home with the Aloha Trio, available for a limited time at Papa John's. Try our classic Hawaiian, super Hawaiian, or Hawaiian barbecue chicken for just $19.99 each. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 air conditioning install company for slushy lovers. Because while a slushy keeps you cool as an 80s song for a moment, AC from Legacy keeps you cold as ice all season long. A permanent full-body slushy sensation keeping you cold as ice with no payments and no interest for 1 year. Keeping you cool without the brain freeze. That's how you build a legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Listen up, because you're not going to want to miss this. Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's biggest offer ever. For a limited time only, new players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit playalberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance. When you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Reports suggest that Canadian taste buds are bored to tears.
My mouth can't handle another dull drink.
Summertime smoothie experts everywhere are recommending a watermelon wake-up from Booster Juice.
It's so smooth, cool, and refreshing.
And ridiculously delicious. Enjoy the Watermelon Wave and Watermelon Explosion smoothies, available all summer long at a Booster Juice near you. Stay cool, Canada.
Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Sports 1440, also streaming on Oilers Nation Facebook, YouTube, and X. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz with you here. Also, Donovan Paulson and Josh Fenwick keeping us on track on the streams. If you are watching online, make sure you go hit that like button, as I just did. Just got to boost those numbers. Everyone out there, go to the link, hit the like button. Good for us. Helps us grow the brand. And of course, if you didn't know it, then on Tuesday, we do have the official Sports 1440 24/7 launch. It's actually going to be 11 hours, but starting at 7 a.m. on Tuesday, we'll be live on YouTube. Sports 1440 a.m. is the channel. If you want to go check it out, of course, Gregor Show's been doing that since the launch of Sports 1440, coming up on 2 years. But now we're getting everybody else involved with YouTube. So make sure you go give that a subscription. Right now, we'll get to the CFL report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where their rates never change. No OT charges, furnace repair, and maintenance. Do it now with legacyheating.ca. We are joined by John Hodge from 3 Down Nation, insider and reporter. John, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we really appreciate you joining us in kind of a unique weekend in the CFL, as usually we'd be having Thursday, Friday games, Saturday as well. But with the long weekend, Labor Day Classics going on, the action doesn't get going till Sunday. I want to ask you, the games going on this weekend, which one intrigues you the most?
Well, I mean, I'm based in Winnipeg, so maybe I'm a little biased, but to me, I mean, it's the one that, at least in my opinion, is the best rivalry in Canadian football. That's the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and Saskatchewan Roughriders, and this is also the game between the three of them that has 2 playoff teams in it, right? I mean, I think Winnipeg is in tough to finish first again in the West Division this year, but it's certainly not impossible. And I mean, if they were to sweep this home and home against Saskatchewan, something they did just last year, they would, in fact, leapfrog the Riders in the standings. Easier said than done. But to me, these are the 2 best teams playing this weekend, with the exception of the Calgary Stampeders, who I had as the number 1 team on my power rankings ballot this week for 3 Down Nation. But it's going to be the best atmosphere, standing room only at Mosaic Stadium. And I think it's always special when Winnipeg and Saskatchewan plays, but maybe again, I'm just biased.
Well, being based out of Winnipeg, then let me ask you, going back with the Banjo Bowl history, what is your favorite memory from these games?
Oh, that's a great question. So I was in person to cover Labor Day last year. That was an unbelievable atmosphere, fantastic game. Unfortunately, with the injury to Zach Collaros, was a little bit of a letdown in the second half, but the first game of that game was first half of that game, I should say, was electric. Banjo Bowl, I've been at all of them. There have been blowouts on both sides. Man, I'd be hard pressed to pick a favorite memory. Maybe oh, geez, that's a great question. I think you've stumped me. I mean, they're all good. Right? When the Riders come into town and get the upset, it's drama. When the hometown crowd gets the win and gets to celebrate, that's, it's a tremendous atmosphere at Princess Auto. So I don't know if I have a favorite memory. Maybe the first one, right? Maybe the first one. I was a kid. I was there as a fan. And, with the unbelievable charge that was surrounding that game, with, Troy Westwood's comments going, pseudo viral in kind of the pre-social media era. And that was before I think everybody realized, or at least before I realized, it was going to be an annual game. So maybe the first one, feeling like, okay, there's this one-off. These 2 teams are going to play this thing called the Banjo Bowl. Both teams are dying to win. Maybe the first one, but they've all been good since then.
Yeah, I mean, this one should be the exact same. And, one of my favorite traditions is always going down to Calgary for that game as someone based in Edmonton. The streak that I went, I think I saw the Eskimos at the time win 1 or 2 games in 11 years. It wasn't a lot of fun. And I missed out on probably the most memorable, I would say, from a Battle of Alberta standpoint, with the Ed Hervey and the helmet toss. I'm sure you remember that one.
That's it, right? I mean, all of these Labor Day matchups, these classic matchups, are winners, right? And it helps when the teams don't like each other, which is something that, isn't always the case. Certainly the fans don't always get along. There's a healthy rivalry there. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned that game. There have also been some well-documented games in the Battle of Ontario where a lot of the guys on Toronto and Saskatchewan Hamilton and Toronto have very much not liked each other. So I think anytime you can get those types of moments, you don't want to see anything egregious, right? Like, we don't want to see guys trying to injure each other. But anytime it can be, a hotly contested rivalry that's simultaneously played, within the confines of the rules, I think it's hard to beat that in the Canadian Football League.
We're looking around the CFL with John Hodge of 3 Down Nation. You can give him a follow on X at John D. Hodge. Let's look at the Battle of Alberta. And like you said, you have the Calgary Stampeders at the number 1 spot in your power rankings. The Edmonton Elks playing some good football. I mean, if you looked at it just based off the standings, it might not be as close as it could be on Sunday or Monday with 2 pretty good teams playing, or 2 teams that are playing pretty good right now.
Yeah, and to me, there's positive and negative here for the Edmonton Elks. Like, on the one hand, they've won 3 straight. Cody Fajardo does a really nice job of protecting the football, limiting mistakes. He'll never lead the CFL's most dynamic offense, but if the defense settles down, which it has as of late, as I think J.C. Sherritt, their rookie defensive coordinator, has kind of grown into that role. And as long as they're playing well in special teams, I was very impressed with that. Vincent Blanchard handling all 3 duties, I thought pretty well last week. And then, of course, Javon Leake rips off the punt return touchdown. This team can make some noise. The downside of it for the Elks is they started so badly, right? Like they dug themselves in a tremendous hole at 1-6. And a time-honored cliche that admittedly I don't like, but that gets touted at this time every year is people saying, oh, well, the CFL season doesn't even start until Labor Day. Well, the reality is you can be out of contention by Labor Day, and that's exactly what the Edmonton Elks are facing, right? Like they're playing the best team in the CFL back-to-back here. And I don't think they need to sweep Calgary in order to get truly back into the playoff hunt. But the reality is they're 2 points behind BC, and they've already lost that season series. So they need to make up some ground here. I think this team really needs to get one of these games, right? I don't think it matters which one. But if the Elks can find a way to split this home and home against a really tough opponent in the Stampeders, at that point they'd be 5-7, and you're going, okay, there's potentially some noise this team can make down the stretch. At 4-8, I think you've kind of squandered that little 3-game heater they've been on. So I'm very interested to see what the Elks are able to do.
Now, I know the league awards, we call it the MOP, but if you had an MVP award, most valuable player to their team, where would Vernon Adams Jr. rank for you right now?
He'd be number 1, I think. That team looked unbelievably different with PJ Walker under center. And if VA doesn't get hurt in the late stages of that Montreal game his team lost earlier this year, and if VA is able to start against the Ottawa Red Blacks earlier this year, I think this team is 9-1. Like they've been absolutely brilliant on defense. That front 4 is the best in the CFL. I thought going into the season that the best defensive line in the CFL would be in Alberta. I was right about that. The issue is I thought it was going to be at Edmonton, where they basically signed the Grey Cup defensive line from Toronto. They repatriated defensive line coach Demetrius Maxey, who people in and around the CFL speak extremely highly of. That quite hasn't panned out for the Elks, but the Stampeders, I mean, between Falar and Ermolade, who they brought back via trade, Jalen Hutchings, who to me has been the best defensive player in the CFL in the middle of that defense. And then, Clarence Hicks having a bit of a breakout year. Some of the other guys they've been able to rotate in there who have flashed. They have just been sensational up front. And when you're getting pressure with 4 and you can consistently drop 8, that puts you in a really nice position to be successful as a defense. So the defense, I think, deserves credit. But to get back to your question, like that unit did not play any complimentary football. That team did not play any complimentary football when VA was out of the lineup. Offensively, they were very stagnant. It's not, and it's not a super dynamic offense. Like they can run the ball pretty well. But if VA is not in there, it's easy to take away Dedrick Mills and say, okay, well, beat us through the air. And PJ Walker could not do that. So VA to me is the MVP. I think he's going to get some MOP love, especially if the Stampeders finish first in the standings. Right now, VA's touchdown interception ratio is pretty mediocre. It's 11-6. So I don't see him as the favorite for that. If I had to vote for MOP right now, I'd probably have Trevor Harris coming out of the West and Bo Levi Mitchell coming out of the East. But certainly in the second half, I think VA can make some noise to perhaps get some more MOP buzz. But I like your consideration here with potentially him as the MVP.
John Hodge of 3 Down Nation joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. John, you have a pretty good pulse here of the NFL as well. Canadians playing in the league and maybe some potential guys who might trickle down into the CFL, if they don't sign on practice rosters or find another spot. You kind of touched on it there, and I know that's a really cliche statement in the CFL about how it doesn't start till after Labor Day. But are there any players you're watching for that could make a trip back to the CFL and have an impact?
Well, I mean, I think one you have to talk about right away is Mackay Polk. Like the Toronto Argonauts are in a hard way right now, right? Only 3 wins. But they're the Grey Cup champs for a reason. They've obviously done very, very well for themselves since Ryan Dinwiddie was hired as their head coach. And, this offense under Nick Arbuckle was incredible this past week against BC, 52 points, over 400 passing yards for Arbuckle. Well, you add Mackay Polk into that offense, especially when DeMonte Coxie gets healthy. That's a pretty tremendous set of weapons. And I'm still skeptical the Argonauts can get all the way back to get into a playoff spot, but that'll certainly help them. Joe, very good player who I believe will be back with the Saskatchewan Roughriders soon. Nice player. The issue is the Riders are so deep with their Canadian receivers. I'm not sure how much he's going to play. I mean, Kean Schaefer-Baker and Sam MLS have both missed considerable time, but are expected to be back. And then the guys who are playing are doing well. Like Tommy Neal's got some touchdowns. Del Duncan Busby has done very well. They've got Mitch Picton there still, who's a time tested a vet with great hands. So I'm sure they're happy to get a Joe. I'm just not sure, at least for 2025, how much he'll play, just because they're so deep there. One guy I'm keeping very close eye on is Ontario Pokey Wilson, who had 1,000 yards as a rookie with the Bombers last year. That Winnipeg receiving core has not been good enough, in my opinion, over the first half of the season. Nick Dembski obviously having a great year. Dalton Schoen is expected to re-enter the lineup probably this week, coming off a knee injury that's held him out for 6. But beyond that, I mean, you've got Jarrett Stearns, who's been okay. He's now banged up. Dylan Mitchell has not been super impactful. Like, they really need someone else in that receiving core to make some hay. And I think that that's something that the Bombers could really use, is that impactful receiver. And Wilson was cut by the Jets recently, and thus far, at least, he does not have any practice roster interest, it would seem. So he's a player who I'd keep an eye out as a CFL fan.
Now, you guys at 3 Down Nation had reported that Taylor Elgersma was working out with the New York Giants, obviously a second-round pick of the Bombers. What do you expect with him? Do you think he will hang around on a practice squad, or do you think he could make his way back to the CFL?
Well, I think Elgersma, like the guys I just mentioned, have all been in the CFL before, right? And that, I think, is very different than being a quarterback like Taylor, who's 23. He's straight out of university, and just went through an NFL training camp for the very first time and looked good during the preseason. 1 touchdown, no picks. He did have a touchdown that got called back via penalty, but he also had an interception that got called back. I think if you've already been up to the CFL and you get an NFL look, again, like Mackay Polk, like Ontario Wilson, some of these guys, I think it's easier to come back to the CFL, right? Because you kind of go, okay, well, I've already been up there. I already know what it is. This was kind of a bonus NFL shot after the one I got coming out of college. And almost all these guys get NFL shots coming out of college, certainly the Americans anyway. Taylor Elgersma, that's not the case, right? This is his first shot. I think once he signs a CFL contract, I'm not saying he can't get back to the NFL, but it's going to be harder, right? I think it's easier to come out as a rookie and prove you're an NFL guy than it is to go up to Canada for a few years and potentially get a shot when you're that much older. So I doubt that Taylor Elgersma is going to run to the CFL. His rights belong to Winnipeg. Would the Bombers love to have him long term? Absolutely. Would they want to have him now? I'm not sure, right? They've got a veteran-laden quarterback room, Zach Collaros, Chris Trebler, and then Terry Wilson's in his second year as kind of the developmental guy. And they've got Chase Artopius, who they seem to like as a rookie on the PR. So I'm not saying that Elgersma doesn't come up, but I think he's in a position where it would make sense to wait at least a little bit longer. Whereas some of these guys who, again, are already 26 years old or 27, and, they're in an NFL camp, but this was camp 3 or 4 for them. They've already come up to the CFL. I think as a really young guy, it maybe pays to be a little bit more patient.
John, thanks so much for doing this today. I really do appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me. Anytime.
There you go. John Hodge, insider and reporter for 3 Down Nation. Give him a follow on X at John D. Hodge. Yeah, it should be a fun weekend in the CFL. Of course, it all gets going Sunday. Rough Riders hosting the Blue Bombers. Then Monday, the doubleheader Hamilton against Toronto. Then at 4 o'clock, it is the Elks down in Calgary taking on the Stampeders, who are playing very good football. Just come off a big win against the Riders. It'll be a tough one. But hey, Edmonton Elks playing some good football as well. And we've seen crazy things happen in the CFL, especially on Labor Day. Going to be a heck of a game. We'll take a break here. When we come back, it's Thirsty Thursday here on the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, streaming on Oilers Nation, Facebook, YouTube, and X, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
McDonald's Sundaes and snack-size shakes are $2, or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here. My phone. I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Jizz Nuggets. This is New Jizz Nuggets, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. What nugget of cooling advice does Nuge have today?
An air conditioner works by blowing air across the cold evaporator coil where the heat is absorbed into the refrigerant. I actually don't know what that means. Kind of like Zach Hyman with goaltender interference. Sorry, Zach.
Well, you got me there.
Get no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling. Proud sponsor of New Jizz Nuggets.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best. Sherbrooke Liquor, wine, spirits, and tools of beer. SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Electrical solar team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
Strategy, designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for safety and the environment. Hardest Action Electric team to bring home for your project. Visit actionelectrical.com.
Hawaii, the warmth of a golden sunset as the waves roll in, the freshness of a waterfall, the lush scent of tropical flowers in the air.
You don't need to travel to enjoy all Hawaii has to offer. You just need to order pizza.
Hawaii home, the Aloha Trio, available for a limited time. Papa John's, Dry Hard Classic Hawaiian, Super Hawaiian, or Hawaiian barbecue chicken for just $19.99 each. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exciting sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Center. TNA Wrestling makes its explosive debut at the Expo Center on Friday, September 26th and Saturday, September 27th for back-to-back nights. Buy your tickets online today. Learn more about what's happening at the Expo Center by visiting the calendar of events online at edmontonexpocenter.com today.
Want some good news? St. Albert Dodge is holding the biggest sale of the year on their in-stock Ram 1500 Sports. Every single one on the lot is discounted by a whopping $14,000. Yeah, 14 grand. And St. Albert Dodge has the best selection in Alberta. Over 90 Ram 1500 Sports to choose from with great packages, including the Night Edition and GT models, all $14,000 off the ticket price. Get down there and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Look good, feel good, play good. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for listening to Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
2:44. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley. We got Wanye Gretz lingering the halls. I don't know where exactly he went, but he'll be back in a few minutes. Donovan Paulson and Josh Fenwick with you here. Lots to get to on the show today. Still, we'll be joined by former NFLer, current NFLer. He was just released by the Pittsburgh Steelers, but he's still in game shape. So something tells me he's going to get a call. Braden Fihoko will join us at about 3 o'clock. Also TR. We got Shang Peng, talk some San Jose Sharks, and Mark Spector. Plus Lena Betker will join us from SACE. We're doing a fundraiser today here on the Jason Gregor Show. 2 tickets to Laney Wilson tomorrow night down at Rogers Place in the Chairman's Club. That's section 101. Comes with parking and a free dinner at Rogers Place, plus the concert. So pretty good evening. Right now, just at $1,000 from goalie Greg. All money going to go to SACE, the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton, which recently, unfortunately, underwent some funding cuts. You still got to take on new survivors. So they need a little bit more money. We're going to try to get the cash flow going. And of course, if that's too much money and you'd still like to make a donation, we highly recommend it. www.sace.ca. That's SACE. The text line is 1-833-401-1440. Jason Gregor Show brought to you by playalberta.ca. Right now, we're going to get to Thirsty Thursday, brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best selection of wine, spirits, beers, and non-alcoholic drinks. 2 locations, South Side on 50th Street and 92nd Ave, and the OG store, St. Albert Trail and 118th. We bring in David Owens from Sherbrooke Liquor. David, good afternoon. How's it going today?
Good afternoon. I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Doing good. I see the selection here, and it seems very fitting for the weather today.
You know, it has been hot this week, and going into the long weekend, I thought, you know what, we should do margaritas.
I like it.
There are so many pre-made margaritas out on the market right now. This is just a small smattering of what we have available. So we're pretty excited about it.
Has there been a rise in the pre-made drinks? Because I know, back in the day, you could get like the pre-made Jack and Coke and things like that. But it seems like it's really expanded in that variety of beverages.
Yeah, for sure. The RTD category, ready to drink, is what they call it, and it is a huge category and consistently growing.
Yeah.
You think about way back, when I was young, coolers first came out, and there was a couple. I can still smell that fake sugary. I can taste it almost right now just talking about it. But they have evolved a long way from there, and you're getting a lot of really natural fresh juices. Great options all the way through, and lots of different types, as we're going to see today as we go through as well.
When I think of coolers, Bacardi Breezers come to mind. And it was like, I remember one night saying, I'm going to drink these. And I had 2, pounding headache. I'm like, I can't do anymore. It's just too sweet. So,
so much
it's
sugar.
good to see the growth in that category. So
that's right.
All margaritas pre-made. What are we going to start with?
All margaritas pre-made. Yeah, we're going to start with this one here, Essa Cocktails. So this is an emerging player here. So this is their salted lime. So they just use fresh agave, lime, and some hints of orange in it. I think it's about 5% alcohol, and they're out of Calgary actually. So newer player out there, and they're just getting going.
Nice clear one to start off with.
Clear one to start off with.
Smells very good.
Great smell. Naturally, it smells like a margarita.
I was gonna say they're probably all gonna have a bit of a similar smell to them. Smells like it tastes delicious.
Taste, yeah. You can pour that over ice and salt to rim if you want. You'd feel pretty good about drinking a margarita like that.
So that's hints of orange. Are you getting it?
Yeah, just a light hint. But that's what a margarita is, right? It's tequila or an agave beverage. An orange liqueur in there, a Cointreau or triple sec or something like that, and then lime juice. So it's just a nice slight hint.
Yeah, like I don't have the refined palate that you do. I'm like, tastes like a margarita.
It's always hiding in there.
Do you notice an uptick in these types of drinks being bought when the weather goes up?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. When it's hot out, these are such a great go-to all the time. Just throw them in your fridge and like I said, just pour it over ice and you're good to go.
What's the winteriest drink?
The winteriest drink? Oh, I think that changes too. But wintry, people get into rum.
Yeah.
Some more, and they're drinking their spirits a little bit more. Port is always a fantastic. We'll do some port as we get into the fall. Probably that's a great thing. Yeah, those are some great ones for the winter time.
Excellent. Okay, so the next one up there, mango margarita.
So this is a Please beverage, another fantastic beverage. They're a company out of Vancouver. And so this is a mango margarita. This one's a little bit more, 6.9% alcohol. They come in a 4-pack mixer of a whole bunch of different flavors and natural, and then this mango one and so on. So really fantastic beverage. This is called a 2-ounce tequila, 2-ounce tequila cocktail. So it is it's a proper margarita.
A little bit stronger than the previous 6.9%.
Yeah.
Smells really good.
Oh, that nose is super fresh juice, right? You gotta love that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that one's actually really nice. I don't even really taste the alcohol. Like it tastes pretty smooth. Really, really fresh juice. The mango flavor is really strong.
Nice tartness to it at the end as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sits on your palate a little bit. So, that's fantastic. That is a great product.
I'm gonna once again ask you the power rankings at the end of this.
Yeah, well,
that could be a player.
That's a player right there already. Yeah, for sure.
All right, coming up next here.
All right, so we're staying in Alberta, going back to Alberta, I guess. And so this is a bit of a different play. This is Wildlife, and they're in Canmore. And so this is a gin margarita. So they've replaced the tequila with gin. So a little bit of a play on it, a little bit of a move. And this is a fantastic company in Canmore. They've been making great products forever. They started with their vodkas and gins. They've got whiskey now. Really great group of guys. Took their time, learned how to go distill properly. They went over to Scotland and learned, and great group. So this is a fantastic and super popular beverage.
Lots of different varieties as well, or
lots of different varieties as well. Yeah.
All right. You betcha. So the Thirsty Cougar gin margarita. For those keeping track at home, 5%.
And 5%. There you go. Yeah, not too bad at all. Yeah. Nice.
Wow.
Super fresh.
That's really good. It almost like maybe it's just the gin, but like it doesn't even taste like a margarita, really.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a different twist for sure. I think the that lime comes through quite a bit on this one, and,
for sure.
And a little bit of that orange bit as well. They did put some agave syrup in there as well, so you are still getting an agave beverage. Still still be that margarita, but really I think it's a little bit more fruity than the other ones today too. It's not quite as tart.
Yeah.
So if you don't like things super tart, this would be a great spot to go to for sure.
That one could go down very easy.
That one could go down. Not gonna lie to you, all three of them have gone down pretty easy so
they're
far.
all going down easy, yeah. But I mean, that one might be setting the bar here. Now, here we go.
Okay.
A spicy margarita.
Spicy margarita, yeah. This is a Cabron. So these guys also Vancouver, and so this is a tequila blanco cocktail with jalapeno and lime juice, and it's coming through at 7%, so a little bit more. A little bit of a bigger can there also. So this one, got to be a little bit more careful with, but real juice, gluten-free, vegan, all these things. For those, you can smell that jalapeno, eh? Just blasted right off the bat.
I don't do good with hot stuff, so we'll see how this one goes down.
Oh, it's top notch. I feel like we might have done this one at one point in time before. I had to bring it back. If
the smell gets you, but the taste is not quite as strong, I will say that.
No.
Because usually, like, I'm soft when it comes to these things. Like jalapeno, I should be able to handle. But the smell, I was a little taken aback. But actually, when it comes to the taste, pretty good.
It blends really, really nicely in there. There's just a nice mild sort of heat to it. But that initial nose on it is full on opening a jar of jalapenos.
That's good.
Yeah, that's a fantastic one too.
And
that little bit of spiciness really helps out when it's hot outside. That spiciness really helps in kind of toning down some of the extra bitterness into it too, and just a little bit more refreshing.
Like you said, bigger can.
Yeah.
No one's going to complain about that one at 7%.
No one's going to complain with that at 7%.
No, all right. Now, this might be actually my favorite, I guess we call it a bottle here for this one.
Yeah. So this one's called Duchess Dry, and this is actually a 0% lightly sparkling margarita cocktail. So this is a non-alc, really popular beverage with us in our non-alc stuff. And, as you can see, color-wise, it sort of fits in right in with all the other ones. It still has that same nose to it.
Looks like very similar to the other ones here in terms of color.
Yeah, and great packaging, right? That packaging is so reminiscent of the old stubby bottle, right?
Absolutely. Kind of remind me of a Red Stripe or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can really taste the margarita flavor in that one.
The margarita flavor totally really comes through. And so, if you're looking to, as we talk about striping a little bit, or just not imbibing right now, but you want something that fits with everybody else, grab a nice cocktail glass, salt the rim, put a lime on it, over ice, drinking a margarita with everybody else.
With the non-alcoholics, how much has that grown in the last couple of years?
It's really incredible how much it's grown over the last few years. And our non-alc section is just constantly growing in all aspects of it, whether it's in the cooler with beers and RTDs like this, or even with wines and spirits and cocktail mixers, everything that's out there.
Yeah, because I've known some people trying to get off the alcohol for a while and still want to have a drink with your friends. And a lot of people like the taste, so you want to have one that tastes similar. And That one is quite good, actually. So I have to take that one home. I don't know if the young kids will want that.
No,
one.
that's
So
right.
maybe I'll steal that one.
They're going to be fighting over that 7%er. I can see it right now.
We may have to make them split it in studio to keep the peace. So our final one.
Right
here.
on. Our final one. So this is also a non-alc, and this is a mezcal margarita from Wild Folk. And these Wild Folk are also making a variety of really fantastic non-alc, ready-to-drink beverages. And this mezcal margarita is definitely one of them.
Do they also do alcoholic beverages, or is the focus just on NAs?
Focus on the NAs, yeah.
Okay, right on. So we'll give that one a go. A little bit darker in color compared to the
darker in
rest
color, yeah. And
what kind of flavor we expect?
This is a little bit mezcal, so you're going to have more of that smoky kind of flavor profile, smoky, spicy.
Oh yeah,
a little
really
bit different,
smoky.
right?
Yeah,
the smoky comes through.
That's good.
Oh,
I immediately feel like I'm in a sauna.
Sauna, yeah.
The sauna, the smokiness. That's actually really quite nice.
That's campfirey deliciousness right there.
Yeah, that's really good.
Sure.
A lot of and that's another one for me personally. If I had that, I wouldn't think margarita. I'm thinking, I don't know what it is, but it's good.
But it's good, yeah. Lots of balance to it though, and again, fits right in. And I mean, you wouldn't know that you're not, you wouldn't know that you're not drinking alcohol.
Absolutely. So 1 through 3, or let's go 3 through 1. What are you thinking for these margaritas today?
Oh, I'm gonna say, I was the Please. This is the first time I've tried that Please, and I got to tell you, that was pretty top notch.
Mm-hmm. So that was the mango margarita we tried.
Yeah,
number 3 for you.
And I really like the Cabron spicy.
Number 2.
And I'm gonna go with the Wild Folk today. I really love that mezcal margarita. It's just so good. And the nice thing about these non-alc ones too, if you wanted to put your own tequila into it or your own mezcal into it, just to top it up just a little bit, you can also do that as well, right?
Absolutely.
The mixer.
I think I'm kind of with you. I think I have the spicy margarita at 3.
Yeah.
I did like is it Essa?
Essa, yeah.
Essa here. I like that one. And number 1, it's got to be the Thirsty Cougar.
There you go. The Thirsty Cougar.
Thirsty
They always
Cougars.
are. They
always are. A great flavor, great taste, and a great name. So
That's
100% good options and available at both locations.
Both locations, yeah, you betcha.
Awesome. Well, head down. It's the long weekend. I'm sure you guys are going to be
long
slammed
weekend.
the next couple days.
Did a major restock at both stores this week. I know, and the big order showing up at Otwell tomorrow. So lots of fresh stuff in the cooler, lots of new products, beers, and RTDs, and should be a great weekend for us.
And a very wise staff. You have questions, go talk to them. They'll point you in the right direction. Anything you need to pair it with as well. Check out Sherbrooke Liquor, 2 locations, Southside 50th Street, 92nd Ave, or St. Albert Trail in 118th. David, thanks for doing this, and I guess we'll see you next week, hey?
Yeah, you betcha. We'll do.
There you go. There's Thirsty Thursday, brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor. We're going to take a break here. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Braden Fajoko, NFLer, talk a little bit about his career and life as someone who kind of bounced around a little bit between practice rosters, finding new teams, and also his unbelievable college career, playing on the 2019 LSU Tigers team, undefeated national champion Joe Burrow wins the Heisman. We'll talk about that and more coming up on the Jason Gregor Show. But right now, Sports 1440 update brought to you by 01 Hockeyology. Build your game all summer long with custom training and cutting-edge tech. Become unstoppable. Sign up now at 01.ca. That's ZERONE.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Good. I like that.
Light day of MLB action. Currently, games underway. It's the Diamondbacks over the Brewers in the bottom of the 9th. It's the Cubbies currently up on the Giants 3-2 in the top of the 6th. You've got later today the Phillies. They are hosting the Atlanta Braves. The Marlins, they are in New York to clash with the Mets. And the Yankees, they take on the Chicago White Sox. 3 finals from earlier MLB action. It was the Red Sox over the Orioles 3-2. The Astros took one from the Rockies 4-3. And the Cardinals, they beat up on the Pirates. U.S. Open tennis action. Felix Auger-Aliassime team, he's looking to get underway with another delay at 3:45. And your one lone Canadian finished. Denis Shapovalov, he has advanced past the round of 64. Coming up on Sports 1440, we'll be joined by Terry Ryan. But first, it's Brendan Fajoko, former NFLer. I'm Bowman Paulson. That's your Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Listen up, because you're not going to want to miss this. Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's biggest offer ever. For a limited time only, new players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit playalberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common.
And
Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
The Midsummer Sales Event is on now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. The all-new redesigned 2026 XC90 is here. Test drive the ultimate evolution in luxury. Lease or finance a 2025 XC60 from 0.49% and save $5,000. Finance or lease a 2026 XC40 from 2.99%. Come and discover the deals now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. The Midsummer Sales Event is on now at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Ah, Hawaii. The warmth of a golden sunset as the waves roll in. The freshness of a waterfall. The lush scent of tropical flowers in the air. You don't need to travel to enjoy all Hawaii has to offer. You just need to order pizza. Bring Hawaii home with the Aloha Trio, available for a limited time at Papa John's. Try our classic Hawaiian, super Hawaiian, or Hawaiian barbecue chicken for just $19.99 each. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
He's Alberta's sports authority and lead touchdown winner of his family's backyard flag football games. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 3 o'clock, thank you guys for tuning into the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley sitting in. Wanye Gretz here along for the ride as well. Donovan Paulson and Josh Fenwick keeping us going here on Oilers Nation, Facebook, YouTube, and X. Make sure you give us a like on YouTube. I've just been told to keep telling you guys to do that. Hopefully we hit that like button and just grows the brand here on Sports 1440 and Oilers Nation. The Jason Gregor Show brought to you by playalberta.ca. Tonight, it is the Daily Grand, a chance to win $1,000 a day for the next 20 years. We did the math. That's $7.3 million. PlayAlberta.ca and the Lotto Max tomorrow, an estimated $30 million. Remember, use code word Gregor50 with your deposit, and you get a $50 free bet. Maybe you want to throw that down on the Jays. Maybe you want to throw it down on a CFL game this weekend. Hey, we got NFL football getting going next week. Cowboys and Eagles. Will Micah Parsons be there for the Dallas Cowboys? It's looking like he won't be, but hey, crazier things have happened. Right now, really special guest joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. We'll go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. They're the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta with 4 divisions in project, service, take, and solar for commercial or residential. Contact them today at actionelectrical.net. We're joined by NFLer Braden Fajoko, joins us on video. Braden, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Appreciate you guys for having me, man. It's an honor to be on, and shoot, excited to talk some ball.
Absolutely. And I mean, the career you've had is absolutely outstanding, and it's not over yet. I mean, obviously, you're probably just waiting in the wings right now, hoping for that phone call. I assume still working out just in case or when it comes, because as we know in the NFL, I mean, you're an injury away from getting the phone call, right?
Yeah, it's a long season. I mean, especially as a veteran guy, you kind of know the ins and outs. If you're especially a guy like me who's been in the league 6 years, man, you're one of those guys where teams have your number on I wouldn't say speed dial, but they have your number on hold, and you're waiting for an injury or something to a need for a team here and there, or an old coach to give you a call, and you're waiting for that phone to ring, but you're spot on. That's what a lot of guys are going through right now.
Braden, I want to talk to you about your career as well as your thoughts on the game right now, because I think on Twitter the last few days here, you've had some fantastic points about being in the right opportunity, and it's not just about chasing a certain team, but going to a team where you're going to get an opportunity to play and maybe learn from some vets, good coaching staff. But I want to go back to the early days of your life. You grew up in Hawaii at Honolulu. At what age did you get into football?
For me, I think the earliest was, I probably was 4 or 5 years old, and my older brothers all played it. My dad had a little stint in the CFL, and he played a little semi-pro in Hawaii. And so, I was always grateful to be around the game from a young age, and, it just kind of grew on me. It wasn't forced. And, from a young age, I remember my dad sitting us down and asking us what we wanted to do, and I told him I always wanted to play in the NFL. And so very grateful for my career, very grateful for everything that's happened in it, the way it panned out to be. When I look back at it, everything happened just the way it should have.
So growing up, were you always playing along the defensive line, or did you get on the offensive side as well?
As a kid, my first position in Pop Warner football was strong safety.
Oh, really?
I wore the number 22, man. And, I was skinny, believe it or not, once upon a time. But, I could run. I had a six-pack. And, I always loved intercepting quarterbacks, whether it was Pop Warner or flag football at school. Playing safety was like one of those positions I always thought like, you could affect the game in so many ways outside of quarterback. And then as I got older, it was, I gained 10 pounds here this offseason. I gained 20 pounds, 30 pounds. And then by the time I got to high school, I got my first offer, and I think it was from Arizona State. And they were like, yeah, we see you as a defensive lineman. So I think you think you're going to put on some weight in that body frame. And I went from like 205, 210 pounds my 8th grade year to 270 by the time I was a sophomore and junior in high school. So big transition, but along the way, I've always had a heart for the skill position guys.
So were you recruited that early, like 8th grade? You already had offers coming in?
I was. My first offer was actually in 7th grade, I believe, and it was from the University of Hawaii. Of course, it wasn't official; it was a verbal offer. But I was one of those kids like the Christian McCaffreys and the Sony Michelle's of the world, where you were getting offered, and it wasn't a big Power 5 offer, but it was a Division I offer from the University of Hawaii. And slowly, as I got older, attended more camps, the offer started to rein in, and very grateful. But at the end of the day, you only can choose one. And so, I chose Texas Tech coming out of high school. I was very comfortable there with the coaching staff, and my brothers had attended there. And then, 2 or 1.5 years later, I made my way to LSU, and best decision I ever made.
I've got a lot of questions about the decision to go to LSU, and I know how it paid off. Well, we'll get into that in a second here. So let me ask you, the offers that came in, I was joined by Braden Fajoko here, defensive lineman, NFL 6-year vet, spent some time with the Chargers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. From the other schools, was it strong safety offers, or was it at that point you started to say, you know what, we also see you as a defensive lineman?
When the University of Hawaii offered me as a 7th grader, it was at a lineman camp. And I shouldn't be saying this, but it was for high schoolers. And my parents signed a waiver, and they were like, you're going to go participate. And, lo and behold, I was dominating, and, I was able to, come up with an offer. And when I told them, they were like, hey, so, what year did you graduate? And they were expecting like 2011, 2012. And I told them, I was like 2015. And mind you, this was in like 2010. So, they said, you know what, we're going to offer you as a lineman. I had a bigger frame. I was a taller, lanky kid. I wasn't heavy. I was about 6'1" in 8th grade. And, I had 190, 200 pounds to my body frame. I played basketball, so I had a little leniency to me. But, they offered me as a lineman. They didn't know if it was going to be offensive or defensive lineman. But Hawaii kind of had the first vision of like, yeah, this guy's probably going to play lineman somewhere along the way when he gets older.
That is awesome. So what led to the decision? You mentioned, family and everything like that, going to Texas Tech, joining the Red Raiders, pretty big program. Like, how was the adjustment going from life on the island to Texas?
Yeah. So I think the biggest influence for me going to Texas Tech was a coach by the name of Mike Smith. He's the outside linebackers coach for the New England Patriots now. But Mike is like an older brother to me. Even still to this day, he's a mentor. He's always looked out for me, and he's somebody I've trusted, especially in the coaching industry. Just to always kind of keep it a buck with me. You kind of don't get that as an adult. Everything's kind of on paper or watered down, I should say, especially for young college kids. And so as a 17, 18-year-old freshman coming out of high school, I really needed and craved somebody to, keep it real with me. I was a 5-star athlete. I had everything you could imagine. Like you said, I had all the offers coming out of high school. But trusting Mike, coming into college, for me, it wasn't about the name where I wanted to go. To me, it was somebody I could trust, somebody I could grow under. And thankfully I was able to spend a season with him. And so they ended up letting go that defensive staff after my freshman year at Texas Tech. And, I wanted to leave after that year. But I'd met with Cliff Kingsbury in the offseason after that first year. And, he talked me into staying that second year. And the second year went by. My sophomore year, it was cool. It was all right. My heart wasn't there, though. I was kind of sold on, the coaches I had came in with, Mike Smith, Matt Wallerstedt, Kevin Curtis, Trey Haverty, those guys at Texas Tech early on. I enjoyed it. After that second year, funny enough, Texas Tech releases all those defensive staff that second year. So, within a matter of 1.5, 2 years I've been there, I've already gone through 2 different defensive staffs. And so, for my development as a young 19-year-old kid in college, I felt like that was a little unhealthy to have a revolving door, for my fundamentals and just my development as a defensive lineman. And I took that leap of faith. Originally, I wanted to move a little closer to home. So I was kind of eyeing the Pac-12, schools like USC, Oregon, Arizona State. And, when I announced my transfer process from Texas Tech, the only schools that offered me were all SEC schools: Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss, LSU, South Carolina, you name it. They were my only offers. And it was crazy enough, I was not thinking about going to the SEC. And so, I took my visits. It was down to Auburn and LSU. And I loved LSU solely based off of, Coach O's energy and being there under, Pete Jenkins, legendary defensive line coach.
So you get to LSU, and we'll talk about that in a second, because you guys were an unbelievable run. But 2 years at Texas Tech, were they both with Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah. So when I got to Texas Tech early in the spring, Baker Mayfield was just leaving. It was crazy because when I got to Tech, Baker was just leaving. He had just transferred to Oklahoma, or he was still in the process of doing classes because I was an early enrollee. He was in the process of moving to Oklahoma. Patrick Mahomes had just taken over the season prior because Davis Webb, who is the passing game coordinator, quarterbacks coach, I believe, with the Broncos right now, he was a freshman All-American the year prior. He took over for Baker Mayfield. There's a whole, I could go into it, but there's a whole, this happened, so this happened. And Patrick Mahomes took over for Davis Webb after Davis got hurt. Patrick was the quarterback, my quarterback there for 2 years. We became close friends, still really good friends to this day. Every time we play each other, when I was with the Chargers or, whenever I was with Pittsburgh, we always chop it up. We always ask about our family. He's always asking if I'm still eating Whataburger. And so, it's just always good to catch up with those guys. But he was a good one. He was one of those guys early on that when we first got to Tech, he was, before he even got on the field, you always knew he was competitive just because in the locker room we'd go at it in ping pong and we'd do it for hours at hand.
Whataburger or In-N-Out?
I mean, my take on it. I'm always going to be a Whataburger guy. I live in Texas now. Trying to be in the process of franchising one. Hopefully we can get it more down south towards those southern states. Hopefully I want to open up another one in Baton Rouge. They only have one right now. And so nothing like a good, after a night out in college in the summer, going to go get a patty melt, man. I think that's just some of my fond college memories and why Whataburger hits so close to home for me.
Now, if you can get one up in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, we would be appreciative because I've heard only good things about it. Yet to try it, but one day I'll get down to Texas and give it a go. We're joined here by Britton Filko on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. And let's just talk about the decision to go to LSU and the 2019 team. One of the greatest teams of all time ever assembled. When I think about it, for me, it's the Hurricanes of 2001, I believe, and then the 2019 Tigers. So what led to your decision to join LSU and the roster that they had there?
It's a great question. So for me coming out, when I was in the transfer process, the biggest thing I wanted was development as a defensive lineman. And looking back at it, I'm not the tallest guy. I don't have the longest arms. I'm not the biggest. I'm not the strongest. And so for me, what would set apart when it came time to play in the NFL to accomplish my dreams, what would set me apart? And that was going to be my technique, my fundamentals, and learning the game, not just on the field physically, but mentally, putting myself ahead. And so one of the big set aparts for me in choosing a college and choosing LSU was Ed Orgeron as a defensive line guy, and he was the head coach at the time. And so I knew that, if a guy's a head coach and is a D-line guy, where he's going to be every day. And so every day, he was on my ASS, I won't say it, but, he was on my behind every day in that meeting room. And then getting to learn from Pete Jenkins, who is, I think he's the guru of teaching 3-4 defensive linemen, and so I got to learn that. And then being with Dennis Johnson as well, who was the defensive line coach with the Baltimore Ravens. We grew together. I was with, we called him Meatball at the time, but, I was with DJ when he was an analyst at LSU. And so to see that growth where he is now, to see where I am now, I think it was one of the best decisions. And obviously winning a national championship paid off, but, going to LSU was one of the best decisions of my life.
So you go from Patrick Mahomes to Joe Burrow, and then that offense was unbelievable. Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the backfield, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and Terrence Marshall, like another guy, NFL player right there. How many times in practice were you just kind of starstruck, looking around the field, thinking like these guys are all going to be all pro players at the next level?
Man, it's funny because when you go to a school like LSU, anybody who walks through those doors, man, is filled with pro potential. And not just those guys you mentioned, but there's a lot of guys who never got a shot to play in the league, whose career probably got derailed here and there, but very talented likewise. And it's funny when people talk about our 2019 roster, right? But, in 2018, I feel like we had a way better team. We had the Butkus winner. We had Devin White. We were the same. We had the same offensive line. We had a deeper running back room. And when I look back to it and I think about it, I think what was the biggest difference, and I think that was hiring Joe Brady in the offseason, who's the offensive coordinator with the Bills now, and his mix along with Steve Ensminger's West Coast influence, to his offense approach. In 2018, we were big on getting in the dot, running the ball, being balanced, play action, real Shanahan-esque type of offense. And then Joe Brady kind of came in as like, we have all these athletes, like, why not spread them out and let them run across the field and let them make plays? And so that's exactly what he did. That dosage, along with Steve Ensminger and James Craig, who is, I believe, with the San Francisco 49ers now with their offensive line. It was a match made in heaven. And then, all we had to do on defense was just stop teams enough, and we knew our offense was going to roll teams and put 40 and 50 on the board.
At what point during that season did you think, what, we are not going to lose anymore? This team is too good.
I didn't. The only game I kind of felt like, whoa, we got to buckle up here was Auburn that year. And don't get me wrong, if you look at the Alabama game, how many pros were on the field that day? I think 30 plus played in the NFL just off that game alone. But that Auburn game that year, Kevin Steele, the defensive coordinator, Gus Malzahn, they had an elite game plan that day. It was a 2:00 game. You weren't expecting nothing of it. I think Auburn had 3 losses already in the year. And as you know, in the SEC, 3 losses is a death penalty, right? Coaches, you're on the hot seat. And Derek Brown, they ran this. It was like a 1-3-7 defense where Derek Brown was the only down defensive lineman. They had 3 linebackers and 7 DBs. And, we couldn't block Derek Brown with four guys on him. That day he secured his first round, draft grade, deservingly so. He's a hell of a player. He's a great friend of mine as well. But Auburn was that game that year that was like, all right, now, like when we think back to 2019, Auburn was probably the best team we faced that year.
And I look back at it, and you never really appreciate it, I think, when it's happening. And then a few years later, just looking back, it's quite the roster you guys had, and what a record, what a run. It was a fantastic season. Braden, do you have a few more minutes with us? We got to take a break, but we'll come back. We'll talk about the Micah Parsons trade. For those who might not have seen it, he's going to Green Bay, going from one historic franchise to another. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about your trip to the NFL, what it's like to be a guy who goes from an undrafted free agent to practice squad, onto the big club, and all that and more coming up here on the Jason Gregor Show. More with Braden Fajoco right after this. The Gregor Show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's AquaCentral reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade: safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
How's your summer so far? Are you zipping around in your new truck from Wolf GMC Buick? If not, you should be. GMC employee pricing continues through August on our entire 2025 GMC Sierras, including the Sierra HD lineup. But just August. Who knows what September brings? Costco members save an additional $1,200 on our 2025 Buick lineup and all our new GMC Terrain. We're here for a good time, not forever. Buy the new reliable vehicle and treat yourself. Employee pricing, 0% financing at Wolf GMC Buick.
Mr. Rooter connects with Gen Z.
I have 84 followers, as my niece would say. Slay.
No, that's cringe.
How do I get more?
You're a plumber. Make a skibbity toilet joke.
A skibbity what now?
Or make a fashion calendar full of super hot plumbers, you know? Plumbers with drip.
Young lady, I'd appreciate it if you'd stop acting so thirsty around my employees.
Stern, Uncle Mr. Rooter.
Slay.
For a plumber who cooks, call Mr. Rooter.
Are you an elite athlete or weekend warrior and you just want to enjoy playing the sport you love with less or even no pain? Have you tried every exercise and stretch imaginable, hoping the next one might do the trick? Well, you tried analog. At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe healing can move along
from
better,
3 Down Nation,
sometimes even faster, with evidence-based technology techniques and the people who know how and when to apply it. StimPod, zero-gravity treadmills, radial shockwave, and so much more at your fingertips when you click to find us at leadingedgephysio.com.
The Bricks Famous Tent Sale is back. Find up to 60% off clearance items in the tent and store, with even more amazing deals arriving daily in every department. And Thursday through Monday, we're 5-day deals, like mattresses starting at just $99 and TVs starting at just $199. Plus, get a free Bluetooth party speaker when you spend $9.99 or more on furniture. Exclusions, terms, and conditions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
So here on Sports 1440, also streaming on Oilers Nation Facebook, YouTube, and X. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz with you, sitting in for the vacationing Jason Gregor, who will return on Tuesday. Lots to get to still on the show, but we're very lucky to have Braden Fahoko hang around for another segment here. And Braden, I'm sure you saw the news. The Dallas Cowboys sending Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers for, Kenny Clark and 2 first-round picks. I mean, the poor Dallas fan base, now first Luka, now Micah, this is just crazy trades they've been doing as of late. What are your thoughts initially seeing this deal?
Well, I think, first off, generationally, Micah Parsons and his family set. For the next 10 generations. Well-deserved, hell of a player. Now, I live in Dallas, and so the city of Dallas has kind of gone through a little heartbreak, right? The Mavs traded Luka this past season. Micah Parsons gets dealt to Green Bay. I know there's a lot of uneasy fans here in Dallas. First reactions is going to be a lot of people are going to be mad, right? That's your franchise player, whether you look at it, whether it's him or Dak Prescott. But here's what I say. Being in the NFL, you see this a lot. If a guy, right, and these contracts and these money, it's generational, right? And my opinion is, if a guy really, I don't know what the terms of what the first contract Jerry had offered Micah, but if a guy doesn't want to accept it, and according to Jerry, in his words, they were going to make him the highest non-paid quarterback in the NFL. If a guy isn't willing to accept that, and you've offered him market resetting money, then I think it's fair to let him or let the franchise find a trade, because at the end of the day, you always want guys that are going to play for you, right? You never want money to be the deciding factor. And I think what Dallas got back with 2 first-round picks and a great defensive tackle. I'm a huge fan of Kenny Clark. I've always been. I know Kenny personally. I think Dallas shored up their interior defensive line. I think where those 2 first-round picks now down the road, whatever they turn into or who they turn into, that's where it's, okay, was this trade worth it? Because you look back to the Roquan Smith trade from Chicago a few years back. You look back to the Bryce Young trade with Carolina. You never know how these trades go until you actually see those picks on paper and see them on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to see how these pans out. But for the Green Bay Packers in that division, what an addition. Micah Parsons going to the Green Bay Packers, and we'll see what happens when he gets into the lineup. I think those 2 teams meet week 4, so it should be a heck of a matchup there. Now, Braden, let's talk a little bit more about your career here. You leave LSU, you go undrafted. Take me into the mindset as a player who's undrafted. You obviously have a lot of teams to choose out of and where you want to sign. How much of it is, just finding that proper fit and opportunity with a team in the NFL?
Yeah, so when I was coming out of college, I think after the draft, I had 5 teams that wanted to give me an undrafted free agency deal. It was the Chargers, the Cardinals, the Seahawks, the Giants, and I can't remember who that last team was. It was so long ago. I think it was the Bills, maybe. But when you come out and everybody wants to get drafted, right? You grow up, you see the guys, their names get called on the screen, go shake the commissioner's hand. It's always a childhood dream. But sadly, there's only a certain amount of spots that can get called on draft day. Going undrafted helped me more than getting a late pick in day 3. And I say that because as a day 3 guy, right, a lot of those picks to me are if you can play special teams or you're a depth piece for camp or for the offseason. And if you never really pan out, then, it's kind of a death penalty, right? Being a day 3 guy. Now, as an undrafted guy, for me with the Chargers, they called me in the 5th round and they said, hey, it was COVID. So they said, hey, we don't have any medicals on you. We weren't able to fly you out for a visit. Therefore, we're not going to draft you, but we're really high on you in this process. We think you'd be a scheme fit. They told me the depth chart. They said, we're going to give you every opportunity. And the Chargers were like, statistically, we keep the most undrafted free agents on a roster. You can look at our roster. And I like that a lot. I like the scheme fit. I like how transparent they were with me. And it's crazy when I look back to it. They had offered me the least amount of guarantees as an undrafted free agent. I mean, I think Seattle offered like upwards of 6 figures for undrafted, and that's pretty high for an undrafted guy. And I mean, I took the lowest. I took $2,500 signing bonus to sign with the Chargers, and it paid off for me. I played all 3 years there as an undrafted free agent. And, I was able to kickstart my career there in Orange County.
Yeah, I mean, and that was a tough situation too, like you said, during the COVID process, no preseason games to get your opportunities. So it had to be every day of practice, just trying to be spotted. I mean, if you're giving advice to someone who might have been in your shoes, undrafted free agent, just trying to find a spot, like what kind of advice do you pass along to them?
Be perfect. And I know it's impossible to do, but you're not afforded the opportunities as somebody who's drafted. I've said it in my last couple tweets that, where you're drafted determines the opportunities and leash you're given in this league. For me as an undrafted guy, I knew that I didn't have the same opportunities as the veteran guy or the draft pick they had the year prior. I had to be perfect. I had to know every spot on the defensive line. I even was long snapping. I was finding ways to, get myself noticed, whether it was, they needed a backup long snapper because, our long snapper had COVID right during training camp. Anything, and I didn't long snap in my life before that, but I told him I could do it, right? And I was practicing every day. I was in my hotel room, calling up one of my buddies who I long snapped, Blake Ferguson at LSU. I said, bro, how do I long snap? If you could teach me how to do it in a day, what is it? And I was up all night, just things like that, man. I sacrificed, and I was like, you know what? I know it's going to be a long shot to make this 53-man roster, especially COVID with no preseason. But if I can stick around, make this practice squad, keep grinding, keep chugging away, I know I can show trust here in the organization, and then eventually I'll play. And, that's exactly what happened for me.
6-year NFL vet Braden Vahoko joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. Now, you had some really good tweets the last few days, and you mentioned the Grim Reaper. Can you explain what the Grim Reaper is in NFL football?
Shoot, the Grim Reaper, man, is somebody who, and I'm being totally just modest right here, right? He's somebody who he doesn't want to do what he wants to do, right? And when I talk about the Grim Reaper in NFL terms, it's usually a scouting intern or an analyst, somebody who works in the front office upstairs. They send him to do the dirty work. They send him to come downstairs, or if you're in the parking lot, he's waiting in the lobby for you to walk through those doors, and it's the Grim Reaper because you've seen him grab guys before. Every team has one of them, and it's one of those feelings where, when you're going down a roller coaster and your stomach sinks a little bit, right? And that gut-wrenching, like, but I've been through it. I'm not going to say I'm used to it because it's never easy losing your job in the NFL, but saying the Grim Reaper sucks. Tweeted that, I think it was 2 years ago, we had a Monday workout after a game. It's like a flush recovery workout. And I'm with the Chargers. We had just won. I forgot who we had played. But anyways, long story short, we're there, and one of the practice squad guys is working out with us. And the Reaper comes in. And it's kind of awkward because the Reaper's never in there during our workouts. Whenever the Reaper's in our locker room or downstairs around the players, it's usually he's looking for somebody, or, the GM sent him to go do the dirty work. And one of the guys is finishing up his set of bench, and the Reaper's just watching him. Like, he's just watching him. Like, you can tell he, like, doesn't want to do it, and he doesn't want to be there. And as soon as the guy finishes his set of bench, the Reaper goes, hey, so-and-so, can you come upstairs and make sure you bring your iPad? And all the guys in the league, they know it. And, you just kind of, you start dapping each other up. He's telling everybody goodbye and stuff. He's like, man, we're all just telling him, keep your head up, bro. Keep balling, keep grinding. We've all been through it. And that's the Grim Reaper, man. And shout out to all the Grim Reapers, because, they probably get a bad rap after, hearing what I tweeted. But these guys, they definitely don't. I mean, nobody wants to do that, right? Even these GMs, these assistant GMs, these scouts, that have to call guys on cut day and tell them, they're losing their job, they're getting fired. A lot of them don't want to do that. Not a lot of them. All of them don't want to do that. You don't want to be the guy that tells somebody, hey, your dream is over, because they've all been there. They've all been in that seat. But yeah, that's the crazy side of the NFL, man. You see it happen, way too often. And, even during the season, even if I'm not getting cut, if I see the Reaper down in the cafeteria, I'm trying to avoid him. I'm like, is he making eye contact with me? Like, don't look at me, please. Like, walk the other way.
I could imagine a little bit of fear going into, every single player when you see him walk into the room there. So you had been through that, right? Like, you've been onto the practice roster, and then you get the promotion to the active roster. What do you do when you're on the practice roster? Like, what's the day-to-day, and how does it differ from someone on the active roster?
Shoot, you do everything the active roster does and a little bit more. And the only thing you don't do is play on Sunday. With practice squad guys, man, I always tell people this, like, practice squad guys age older than guys on the active roster. Why? Because, you're only allowed a certain amount of spots on the practice squad. And so, sometimes you have these offensive linemen and defensive linemen on practice squad who are doing special teams reps during practice. They're not just guys who are holding bags, right? They're guys that are emulating the kickoff team, the kickoff return team, the punt block, the punt team, on top of doing the scout team reps. They call it look card now, because you never want to say scout team. You want to say look card, because, you're never demeaning a player, right? You're always giving a good look. And so on top of giving the other team's looks, and plays they're running throughout the week, you have to double back, get your water, get your rest, and then you have to do your team's plays for the week. So for me, when I was with Chargers or with Pittsburgh, it was taking every rep on card O and card D, and then double back, getting my rest, and, going to go get our reps on defense and knowing what I had to do. And so it's crazy, man. I give a lot of props, and I have so much respect for practice squad guys, man, because, unless you've been there and you've been through it, man, nobody knows what they go through, and it's a tough spot to be in.
Braden Vahoko joining us here on the Gregor Show. I got to ask you, I've asked about Burrow, I've asked about Mahomes. How about Justin Herbert? You guys would have came into the league together. I mean, I still remember that game against Kansas City when he trucked the linebacker, took him out, only getting in because Tyrod Taylor had the incident with the was it the lungs?
Yeah, punctured lung.
Yeah, like what was Justin Herbert like as a rookie, and what have you seen from him since?
Great dude. One of my best friends. It's kind of cliche because I feel like I've said everybody's my best friend, but I think that's what's helped me in the NFL is the relationship I've been able to build with a lot of guys. But man, Jay Herb, we came in as rookies together. You know, I was always over his house. He lived in Irvine. I lived in Orange, in Costa Mesa. And so it was about a 6-minute drive. He was always throwing something on the smoker. You know, he always fed me my rookie year. And, you know, just one guy who so humble. I mean, you talk about a true team first guy, like that kid will never throw anybody under the bus, you know, and no matter if he played a perfect game, even if the blame wasn't on him, if he got sacked too much, if a receiver dropped the ball, if the run game wasn't going, Justin's always going to be the guy that says, I got to play better, you know, and I've always respected him for that because you don't see that a lot. You know, the Tom Brady types in this league, the ones who get in their offensive line's face and tell you to block and tell the receivers you need to play better or you're going to get cut. Like Jay Herb's the opposite, man. He's the guy that, you know, he'll take a bullet for you on the football field. He's always going to put himself, you know, in front of harm's way just for the team's success. And I've grown fond of that over the years. And I've really appreciated now more than anything that I'm not playing with him. And I see it more, you know, when I'm watching film or when I'm, you know, watching them on TV, I see the things he does. And I'm like, wow, like I've seen this guy grow up. We came into the league together as rookies and, you know, what he's doing now, it's amazing. And I've been really blessed to be, you know, around some great quarterbacks in my career, some really good ones.
Yeah, that's an unbelievable list you've been through. So you've had the victory brisket then.
I have. It was funny when California we had some fires in 2020 that were, they had to evacuate Orange County. We had just beat, I forgot who we had just beat my rookie year, but we had just thrown the brisket on the Traeger and we had to evacuate. So we basically threw away a $300 Wagyu brisket we couldn't smoke because we had to turn off the Traeger and everybody had to evacuate. But Jay Herb can cook now, but you know, I've also evolved in the cooking game as well. So, you know, I've sent him pictures of my cooking. I've sent him pictures of my briskets and my steaks. And, you know, we got to throw it down together one day because I think I could give him a run for his money now.
Well, that'd be an all right little barbecue for those two items there, whatever else you guys cooked up. And hey, maybe Madison Beer would be there. I've been following the social media, seeing that, right? That's pretty cool. Last one before we let you go here, and Braden, really appreciate your time. I just want to ask you about Mike Tomlin because we kind of joke here on the station, like you could hand him any team and they'll finish 9-8 and find a way to get into the playoffs. Just want to ask you about how good of a coach Mike Tomlin is and, you know, the standard he sets in that room.
Man, he's a great coach. Hall of Fame coach, first ballot. I mean, second to none. His resume speaks for itself. But more than just being a Hall of Fame coach, he's an even better leader of men. I learned so much just in my last 3 years with Pittsburgh, being around Coach Tomlin. Just the life lessons every day. Not just football. I mean, my football knowledge, and I've said it too. I've learned more being under Coach Tomlin the last 3 years than my whole career in football. That's true. And the things that I have learned, I'll gladly pass them down to the next generation, pass them down to my son, you know, whoever asks for it, whoever wants the knowledge, I'll gladly be able to give that to them. But just what he's seeing, it's a never ending process of learning with him. Every day I walked into that team meeting room. Every day he walked into our meeting rooms as a defensive line. Man, I always was so eager to be like, what was Coach T going to say today? Because he always brought something new to the table, whether it was X's and O's, whether it was how to look at a game from a different perspective. We all see things, right? We all look at, the tendencies of this team, for example, and this team likes to run the ball left. This team likes to run the ball right, or however many times, simplifying it. But Mike Tomlin will point out even more like particular things that I won't get into, but he sees the game within the game. And if you've been around Coach Tomlin, you know exactly what I'm talking about, especially when it comes to his Tomlinisms. You know, I can fit in 8 pounds in a 5-pound bag, 2 dogs, 1 bone. You know, I'd rather say whoa than sick 'em. Just all these things that you've learned over the years about, like, they don't just apply to football, they apply to life. And I'm so grateful to have spent that much time around him and be able to pick his brain and, to have a good relationship with him.
That's awesome. And just quickly, where did your dad play in the CFL?
He had a little stint with, I can't remember who it was. I know he had a little stint. It was one of his closest friends, Junior IU, CFL, big CFL guy, was in the CFL at the time, and he got my dad a little stint. I can't remember. I wasn't born yet.
Okay.
When I was born, my dad did more semi-pro, but it was time before me, and definitely would need to ask him.
We'll look into it. I remember your dad from Hard Knocks stealing the show.
Yeah.
So, awesome.
Yeah.
So, Braden, thanks so much for doing this today. Really do appreciate it, and hopefully we'll see you back with another NFL team here soon.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me.
There you go, Braden Fahoko, 6-year NFL vet. What a run, going to Texas Tech from Hawaii, then going to the 2019 LSU National Championship team there for a couple of years, plays 3 years for the Chargers, a few more with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and some really good insight. So I'd highly recommend giving him a follow on X, a guy who's been through it. And I think that means something. When I say something, who cares what I think? Someone who's actually been in the room, Wanye, just means a little bit more.
I care what you think. I think you did a really good interview.
It was fun talking with him.
You knew little details that blew his mind, I think.
Well, I didn't want to tell him I'm a biased Chargers fan. I remember him at camp in 2020, because every training camp, doesn't matter the sport, there's like little fan favorites, right? People are following along with, and he was one of them. People really hyped him up, and then he got in the game and he's making plays, taking on double teams, things like that. So, and it's an unforgiving position. He's playing the nose tackle, right? Big boy in the middle, but yeah, very good player. And to carve out a 6-year career in the NFL, like the average is 3.5.
And undrafted.
And I think you get the pension then too. So
boy,
that's not bad.
Good on him.
We're going to take a break here. When we come back, one of the things we're doing right now on the station, in case you're just tuning in, maybe you haven't been around the radio or the streaming service all day, we've got 2 tickets we're auctioning off for Lainey Wilson tomorrow night at Rogers Place. Section 101 comes with free parking and free dinner. That's the Chairman's Club. Had them donated from Amalgamated Mining, and with the goal of this was to raise money for the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton SACE, which has recently undergone funding cuts, and now we just need to help raise some money to help them out. So we're taking auctions until about 5:50, kind of wrap it up then. Goalie Greg leading the way right now with a $1,000 bid. So if you'd like to go to the concert tomorrow, Lainey Wilson, Rogers Place, you can text in 1-833-401-1440. The current bid is $1,000. We like to go up by at least 50, so $1,050 if anybody wants to take it to the next step. And at the end of the show, we'll give that package away. And coming up next, we're going to talk to Lena Betker from SACE. So just talk a little bit about the organization, the struggle they faced, and what they do. That's coming up next on the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, Facebook, YouTube, and X, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Listen up, because you're not going to want to miss this. Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's biggest offer ever. For a limited time only, new players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit playalberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
The Midsummer Sales Event is on now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. The all-new redesigned 2026 XC90 is here. Test drive the ultimate evolution in luxury. Lease or finance a 2025 XC60 from 0.49% and save $5,000. Finance or lease a 2026 XC40 from 2.99%. Come and discover the deals now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. The Midsummer Sales Event is on now at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
McDonald's Sundaes and snack size shakes are $2, or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here. My phone. I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Tee off to win with Cattail Crossing's $10,000 hole-in-one challenge, powered by Sports 1440, Canada's first ever Aqua Range event. Just walk up, grab some golf balls, and start swinging. Or book a VIP bay today. Win 10 grand with a hole-in-one. Plus, great secondary hole and leaderboard prizes. Closest to the pin and monthly winners will battle for a $50,000 grand prize. The hole-in-one challenge. Open Thursday to Sunday, noon till 8 through August. Weather permitting, cattailcrossing.ca.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley, Wanya Gretz sitting in for the vacationing Jason Gregor. He'll be back on Tuesday. And on Tuesday, Sports 1440 will be live all day on YouTube. Go subscribe. Search us up on YouTube, Sports 1440 AM. Today on the station, we are auctioning off an item, 2 items to Lainey Wilson tomorrow night in the Chairman's Club at Rogers Place. That's section 101, comes with parking and a free dinner. And hey, free dinner anywhere is tough. We know how expensive concessions are, so this alone is quite valuable. Throw on top Lainey Wilson with the top acts in the world right now, and then factor in we're raising money for the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton, which unfortunately underwent some severe funding cuts, and we're trying to help them out and raise some money. So right now, top bid is goalie Greg at $1,000. If you would like to top that bid, 1-833-401-1440. Also, if that's just a little bit out of your price range, we understand. You can always go to sace.ca and make a donation. That's SACE.ca. And right now we're going to be joined by someone from SACE. So Lena Becker joins us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Lena, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I am doing great. How are you doing?
Doing good, and we appreciate your time coming on the show just to talk about SACE for a little bit here and let people know. So we know the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton, and we've heard the story about how the lack of funding has really been a problem right now, and it's tough to bring in new survivors from sexual assault with this. So first off, can you just tell us a little bit what you guys do down at SACE?
Well, we are an agency that offers no free services to survivors of sexual abuse and violence as young as 3 years old. So we offer child and youth counseling, adult counseling, group counseling, as well as a support and information line for people to call if they need immediate support or information, and public education that we offer to youth and adults in our community as well.
So, with the issues that have come down with funding, I mean, how much does that set you guys back here? Because this isn't something that just goes away. This is a problem, unfortunately, in our society that impacts so many innocent victims. Without that funding, what kind of struggles have you guys faced?
Yeah, I think with the changes to our funding earlier this year, it has been incredibly challenging. We did have to pause our wait list for clinical services, and it really it's been a tough year for us for sure. I think the flip side, we've been so heartened by the support from our community, including this is a great example. Having these Lainey Wilson tickets auctioning off. There's just been so many people who have come out to support us in different ways and donate, reach out to see how they can support us. And so that's really kind of what's getting us through right now.
For the victims and the survivors, when they do come into your door and talk with you, I mean, what kind of steps are done to try to, you're never really going to fully get over it, but I guess just try to help and move on with your life and try to grow from it.
Well, I think that for every person, their healing journey is individual and unique. And what we try to do is meet people where they're at, support them in whatever that needs to look like. So for some people, that is reporting to police. Some people, that's not, not something they want to pursue, and we don't push that at all. Others, it might be therapy, but maybe that's not the right fit for them either. We're really just here to walk alongside survivors and make sure that they feel empowered with whatever choice they make in order to move forward with their lives.
Since the severe funding cuts, I mean, it's unfortunate. Have there been people that have come in that you haven't been able to help? Has that become more of an issue?
It has been a challenge. The last few months we've had to have our wait list closed, which means that we weren't actually able to take new intakes. And we are feeling hopeful that we can still, we've been doing our best to support folks as much as we can, even under the challenging situations that we're in. We're steadfast, we're committed, we're still here, and we're finding ways to make it work. And every dollar that comes in our doors from donors helps us a lot and helps us continue to do that work.
How many people do you guys have on staff down at SACE?
This is a good question. We have currently around in the 40s, somewhere around there. Yeah, it's a moving target. I'm not exactly sure the total number, but we've got a really robust team of counselors, educators, admin staff who are all just doing fantastic work.
Well, Lena, thanks so much for hopping on quickly here. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but wanted you to come on and just let people know what this charity does. It helps the victims, and hopefully we can get it up a little bit. We're at $1,000 right now, and we'll try to get it even higher.
Great. Thank you so much, Connor.
There you go. Lena Becker joining us from SACE. Again, 2 tickets to Lainey Wilson tomorrow night down at Rogers Place, Section 101. It's the Chairman's Club. These tickets donated from Amalgamated Mining. Comes with parking and dinner. Just $1,000. I mean, you can talk to one of your friends, maybe a big country fan. You're going to go out and see a great show, have a nice dinner, get some free parking, maybe go to the casino right after and win it all the money back. Like down at Rogers Place, that is a possibility. So text line 1-833-401-1440 if you'd like to get in on the conversation and make that donation. You can also call us. Donovan's got the phone going right now, so you can reach out to him and make that donation. But it's unfortunate what happened with the budget cuts there, and this isn't going away, Wani. Unfortunately, it's an issue that it's just in our society, and to not have this type of outreach and help, it sucks. There's no other way to really put it. It's just brutal.
At the risk of saying political stuff, we waste a lot of money as a society on a lot of stupid stuff. Almost said a swear word.
Yeah.
I cannot fathom how an organization like this loses funding.
Yeah. It's, you know what? I'm thinking, I'll make an executive decision. We're doing our Fantasy Frenzy football pools. We got the Survivor pool, $10 an entry, e-transfer, Brandon at sports1440.ca. For that, we're going to be giving the money to October with Operation Friendship Senior Society. I'm thinking for our other one, it's a 12-team league, half-point PPR. We might have to give the half the proceeds to SACE. I think we'll make that commitment right now because shout out to our listeners who have got this up to $1,000 already, but I think we can donate more. For those who might be interested in joining our fantasy football league, it's a 12-team league, as I mentioned, half-point PPR. You can buy an entry by e-transferring $20 to Connor at sports1440.ca. You can buy as many entries as you want if you want to try to ensure yourself doing this today. A spot in our league. Hopefully we'll see you back. 30 entries right now with a bunch of different people, and the draw for that will happen tomorrow during Fantasy Frenzy. Draft will go on Tuesday, and hopefully we can raise a little bit more money from anyone that might want to partake in a fantasy football league with, a few good listeners and then a few average managers when it comes to the Duke and I. Any more information you want, 1-833-401-1440. Wanya, are you a fantasy football guy?
No, but now that I know that you were a Nexopia football mod, how dare you speak down about your own skills running that league?
Well, I mean, I don't know why I was a mod. They offered free plus, and I was like, oh, I can see who visited my page. That's cool.
It's good stuff.
That power hungry, maybe.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a long-term thing for me.
But you've been a sports organizer for longer than you care to mention. This
Should
is
I
going to
put
be
that on my LinkedIn?
Yes. Link to Nexopia's LinkedIn. I'm sure it's busy.
Sports mod on Nexopia.
It impressed me.
2004 to 2004. It was a 1-year span.
January 3rd, 2004, January 4, 2004.
Little run there. The big news, in case you missed it, we talked to Brandon Fajoko about it a little bit, but the Dallas Cowboys sending all-world edge rusher Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers in exchange for 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark, who, hey, fine player. Totally is. Those first-round picks are likely going to be late-round picks. I would say 25 or lower in exchange for Micah Parsons, who gets, huge deal. Green Bay Packers fans, cheeseheads, how you feeling? That's got to be, what a feeling. I was going crazy when the Chargers acquired Khalil Mack a few years ago, and he was aging at that point. Micah Parsons in the prime of his career, going from the Cowboys to the Packers, 2 historic franchises. But my goodness, how did you fumble this one if you're the Dallas Cowboys? Just pay the man. It's so simple.
It's amazing to let him go to the Packers of all teams, too, to just haunt them for who knows how many seasons to come.
He's going to play in the conference, could potentially meet in the playoffs. And he's still so young, 26 years old, 50 sacks already in his career.
Do the Cowboys now have an insane amount of cap room to go and do something equivalent, or how is this going to play out?
Well, he was still on his rookie year. So, he
let that go.
It would have been his 5th-year option. I believe it was going to jump up next year. Rick says those picks are going to be top 15, without a doubt in my mind. Top 15. You think the Packers are going to be a bottom 15 team in the league? I don't know. I mean, they were good last year, and they just added the best defensive player in football. They headed Matthew Gold into their team this offseason. Jordan Love only getting better. I don't know. I think if you're in that division and you're the Vikings, the Lions, and even the Chicago Bears, you're like, well, damn, that's going to hurt.
That's going to hurt.
Because that is a pretty good move there for the Green Bay Packers. But we'll see. Hey, crazier things have happened. MTR says trading Doncic at 26, then Parsons at 26 within 6 months is hilarious. Yeah. It's crazy. Like the Dallas sports fan. If you know one, hug one. At least you got the Dallas Stars haven't done anything too crazy. The Stars didn't anything crazy, Donovan. They didn't trade, I don't know, Mira Heiskanen today, did they?
No, they didn't.
Okay,
the Dallas Stars actually put out a tweet. It was something along the lines of, don't worry, y'all. Mikko Rantanen is still a Dallas Star.
Well, that's good. That's good. Keep one of their stars in the Big D. That is absolutely crazy. Stulo texted in. I asked my wife who Lainey Wilson is, and now she's blasting it from her phone and dancing in the passenger seat. Yeah, well, Stulo and wife. I mean, for only, let's boost it up $1,100. You go tomorrow. You could help a really needy cause in our city and have a great night and have a great meal. The food down there at Rogers Place, I don't know what it would be. I'm thinking buffet probably. I mean, you're going into the Chairman's Club. It's going to be I bet there's a roast or something.
Chairmen love roasts.
They do. Everyone knows that. We're going to take a break here. The text rolling in. Austin Flintflon say, hey, boys on point with the tunes today. Halley, yeah. Donovan Paulson keeping it going here. Husk says, it's just crazy about that deal. $188 million contract. Yeah, good on the Green Bay Packers for handing out that deal. That's fantastic. Comment. This comes from Scott Hall. Tremendous guest today. Thank you for bringing him on. I've been waiting so long for our 1260 to 1440 sports stations to interview someone I saw play in person against the hated Georgia Bulldogs. 2014 to 2019 was FSU, Georgia State, and Alabama, but I never paid attention to any team more than the Tigers. Nice job to both of you. Please have him on again. Sorry about his Cowboy luck. Parsons did what he had to. Scott Hall via Alberta and Alpharetta, Georgia. Yeah, Braden Fajoko, man. We'll have to get him on again. Like, even if he's done with football. Hey, I was going to say, would you play in the CFL? Maybe the Edmonton Elks will bring you in. Big run stuffer. Could be big. Let's take a break. We'll get to a Sports 1440 update. When we come back, we'll be joined by Terry Ryan, former NHLer. We're going to head down to San Jose as well. Talk to Shang Pang as the San Jose Sharks. We got some news on the arena. You got some nice young talent there. Might they want to finish in the bottom half of the league again? Possibly. There are some pretty good players out there. One potentially, I don't know if they'll be in the running for that one. But first, a Sports 1440 update. Brought to you by Cattail Crossing for early risers. This one's for you. Tee off bright and early and enjoy Breakfast on Us, only $55 with the Rise and Dine, only at Cattail Crossing.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Big breaking news of the day. Micah Parsons is no longer a Dallas Cowboy. He's now joining the Green Bay Packers after a sign and trade. 4 years, $188 million is the terms, $47 million a year, and $136 million guaranteed. The return for Dallas, 2 first-round picks, and D tackle Kenny Clark. Games around the majors, The Philadelphia Phillies hosting the Atlanta Braves. It is the Marlins in New York to clash with the Mets, and the Yankees battle the White Sox. Some finals, the Giants edge out the Cubbies 4-3. The Cardinals over the Pirates 4-1. It's the Astros taking down the Rockies 4-3. The D-backs 6-4 over the Brewers, and the Orioles fall 3-2 to the Red Sox. Coming up at hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, I'm Donovan Paulson. That's your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Work never gets done by standing around. You have to put your words into action. And that's exactly what GS Construction does every single day. Our priorities are safety first, quality second, efficiency third. GS Construction works hard. It's true. But first comes the care, the planning, and the people. Underground infrastructure isn't just about machines and trenches and some traffic inconveniences. It's about doing things right. Find out more on what we do. Visit gsconstruction.ca.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada with sports and entertainment properties, including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League's Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
On the Rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tunes.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best live DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're on the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Jeff Brab and 118th.
Rivalries run deep in Alberta football.
Edmonton all the way. Calgary rules.
But when it comes to the best snack for 3-down fun, there's no Battle of Alberta. It's a clear winner.
Wilhock Beef Jerky.
The one thing every Alberta fan agrees on. So whether you're watching the game from your recliner or in the stands, make it a part of your game day.
Wilhock Beef Jerky. Because you don't win games with salad. Only available in Leduc.
McDonald's Sundays and snack-size shakes are $2, or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here.
My phone.
I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
for comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you.
Call Legacy.
For comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Score an A+ deal on 5G Ultra Home Internet from Explore. Switch to incredible internet speeds and get a $100 gift card for a limited time. Upgrade today at explore.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
404, welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley, Juan Yegretz with you. The Gregor Show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Tomorrow night's Lotto Max, an estimated $30 million, plus tonight you got the Daily Grand, $1,000 a day for 20 years, $7.3 million. Go get your ticket at PlayAlberta.ca. And remember, GameSenseAB.ca. Text rolling in about the Micah Parsons trade. Micah Parsons, stud edge rusher for the Dallas Cowboys, no longer. He's a member of the Green Bay Packers in exchange for Kenny Clark and 2 first-round picks. Gets an absolutely massive deal from the Packers. A no-brainer for most teams. Cowboys didn't seem to feel that way. HVAC Nick's texting in, Jerry is a stubborn sheep bee. This should not surprise anyone. And it's not. I would agree with you. I don't think it is surprising. We probably knew this was eventually going to happen. Actually, that's a lie. I thought he would pay him. I can't get over the fact that he did not pay him. It was right there. He's done this in the past with like CeeDee Lamb and Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott. Make him wait to the last minute, then you pay him. I didn't see this coming. I thought he'd eventually would just make a deal of it. I think it was a burned bridge when Jones tried to make deals without David Mugoleta, his agent. I think that's when it was like, no, I'm not doing this.
What's going to happen with Cowboys fans? Like, you can't shake the GM chair loose of Jerry Jones. Like, he's in the saddle potentially as long as he owns the team.
Yeah, 100%.
Is there a backlash so strong he stands down from this?
I don't think so. I mean, there could be a huge backlash, but I don't think he stands down. I think he'll just say, look at my rings. I've won before. Like,
wow.
Even if it means nothing 25 years later, 30 years later. Like, it's absolutely crazy.
You can tell it's almost September because the Cowboys are at war with their fans.
BG says, at least Jerry got 2 first rounders he can refuse to pay in a few years. Go Pack, go. So, like, it just sets a bad precedent. If you're a player there, a young player, you're like, okay, I play well, I'm going to get paid. Well, yeah, you'll get paid, but maybe it won't be in Dallas. We're going to get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Rides Charter Company. Silent Rides is Alberta's premier bus charter company with state-of-the-art motor coaches safely taking your team or group to their next destination. Visit silentrides.ca for more information. We bring in actor, former NHLer, 2-time author, podcaster, and Tuesday, Thursday co-host here on the Jason Gregor Show, former NHLer Terry Ryan in. TR, how you doing?
Oh, I'm not bad. Things are busy, but busy is good this time of year when it's tailing off. Just planning out my fall, to be honest, and my daughters. And nice weather over here in Newfoundland, and finally winding it down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting to be that time, and all of a sudden we'll be talking hockey once again. I want to ask you, TR, just as a former professional athlete, and we always kind of speculate, like, a good way to keep your team happy is draft well and then reward your players for what they do and keep them with your team, keep that consistency and build the culture of an organization. It's not hockey, but in the NFL, the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones totally messed up this situation with Micah Parsons. He's 26 years old. He's top 2-3 defensive player in the league and wanted to play in Dallas. And somehow they messed it up. And that worked out quite well for the Green Bay Packers as they just traded him to Green Bay for 2 first-round picks and a player, Kenny Clark, defensive lineman. Just want to get your thoughts on, as someone who played professional hockey and was a professional athlete, how you can mess this one up and lose such a star player and how the guys in the room are probably feeling about it.
So first of all, I didn't even realize that happened. I know this. I know the situation. I know the Parsons and Dallas, Jerry Jones. I knew all about the debate and the contract. I just didn't realize he got traded to the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, it just happened an hour ago.
Okay. Yeah, like, first of all, I was scratching my head at that anyway, because if you're Cowboys especially, like, it's so divisive anyway, a fan base. And to me, the move, I don't know. Again, I watch football. I have an opinion. I didn't play, so I feel like some kind of hypocrite saying this, but I really didn't think they'd let him go. I really didn't. So how does it affect the room? Especially when it's someone that people, that's producing, that's generally liked. Yeah, I've never. It takes a while to rebound from that. It takes a while to rebound from somebody that's just regularly in the room. And you add the the level of kind of dynamic player and relative to others in the league, like you said, top 3. So it's mystifying. Yeah, man, and sometimes it needs to happen, but even so, I mean, look at these teams. Pittsburgh is still reluctant to do it in the NHL, knowing they're losing. It's something. It takes a little bit away from the organization as a whole, whether you win or lose, when you're getting rid of parts that you need. And sometimes it goes towards a rebuild. In this case, it isn't. So, yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, and it's also if you get traded for 2 first-round picks, it's also going to take a while to see the results. And I'm not sure Cowboys fans want to hear that right now.
I'm totally with you. I mean, we'll see what happens in 4 or 5 years when those first round picks kind of become full-time NFLers. But I think the Green Bay Packers really solidified their defense. Their offense is pretty good as well. So this could be late round picks as well, or late first round picks. So we'll see what happens. Now, Team Canada, men's, women's Paralympic teams meeting in Calgary for the orientation camp. And of course, they're not going to hit the ice, but a little bit of team building, getting to know one another. And Connor McDavid did speak to the media. The question was brought up pretty quickly about his contract, and he didn't seem too panicked. I don't think too much has changed. But when you just look at this negotiation with the Oilers and Connor McDavid, do you have any concern that it doesn't get done? Like, it just seems like the offer will be made and accepted, and he'll be under contract for the next 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, first of all, his words, they didn't mean anything one way or the other. I mean, I'm glad he said them, and you knew this was going to happen. And, if I'm him, even if I'm 1 minute from signing, it's still not guaranteed. You don't want to let too much info out there. Equally the other way. And everything I've seen and heard from him, and he said he wants to win at Edmonton. Everything I've seen him do, and sweat and blood and tears and effort and broken bones and pulled groins and ligaments and everything that he's been through in all the time here, and just being right there about to sip Lord Stanley's cup, just grasped away from him inches, millimeters. And you see him in the room, and by his post-game speeches or mid-game speeches, from the way he handles the media, his friends, the things people say after playing with them, how good of a teammate he was. To me, any jumping on boats to that are sailing the direction of this guy leaving, I think is way premature. I think he said exactly what you would expect him to say for a guy that loves the team he plays for, that hasn't signed yet. You're not going to give too many cards away. You can't, even if you know what's going to happen, you don't want to do it. It's not the time or the place. So I'm totally, I mean, if he's not signed by the beginning of the year, I'll be surprised. I still won't. It's not going to matter to me. There's a long time to play out here, and there's a lot of factors. It's not just money, man. That's probably down on the list. You can only get so much. He wants to win. He wants to. And his team's in a great position. Was he going to jump over to some team that he's not sure? It's possible, but he said nothing to me to make me think that he's not all in with the Oilers. So I think people might be panicking a bit that think otherwise. Maybe I'm wrong, but to me, it's nothing to be alarmist about.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. I mean, I think once he gets back to Edmonton from this camp, at some point the discussion, the sit down happens, and Jeff Jackson said, I don't expect this to be a tough negotiation. I think the Oilers will pay whatever he wants. We know it's going to be probably between 16 and 18 mil, and then it's done. And then, focus on winning hockey games, and we'll see. Now, they were at the orientation camp. So I want to ask you, just between, talking Oilers players, Evan Bouchard and Zach Hyman, do you expect one, both, or, none of them to make this Canadian Olympic team?
I think they both got a great shot at it. Really do. I still say it. I mean, it's people, all eyes are on Bouchard in the playoffs. It's the weirdest. It's an anomaly. You're looking at it, and as he's playing and finishes a game, it's never unanimous. It's some people got him as a 1 and some as a 10. I know he gives it away. That's probably the biggest, defensive maybe giveaways would be the biggest criticism maybe, or just maybe sometimes playing too lax. I'm telling you, he's one of the best D's in the league. Look at the guy. Look at what he does out there, and he does it. It's not easy to play with the best players in the world either. I've often said that. People might say, he gets more points because of it. It's not easy, though. Not everybody can do it. They go in, and then they might overpass it or overthink it or not time it right. I mean, it's hard. And the same thing with Hyman. Yeah, of course, he went out, and his best years are in Edmonton because he can play with those guys. We've seen players come in and out that are supposed to do the job that don't. So I think two of them, if nothing else, Connor McDavid is going to be there. And they both complement him well, if nothing else. Now, I think outside of that, they're two of the better players at their position in the league. They're Canadian, of course. I think Hyman for sure. I'd take him. I mean, I don't know. Like even last year when he got left off, you're looking at after all of that, like I've said before, like blood, sweat, and tears that he's put into it, and the talent and the finish. And the areas that he's willing to go, I was surprised. To me, he is Team Canada. He's the epitome of what we need there. Bouchard, not so much, but I think he's good enough. Now, of course, as you stack down the D and you look, Canada's got some fantastic D and some people that are ready to step in and make a splash. All good. I think Bouchard might be in a little deeper, but I still expect the very least to be there. I don't know if he's going to be one of the best D, but... And same thing, Hyman could play on the first line or the fourth line. He's going to go out, he's going to hit. And as soon as playoffs start, which is the Olympics, just like last year, he was getting 12 and 13 hits a game on top of going into the front of the net. He'll bounce him in off his knee. Like, it doesn't matter with that guy. To me, any Canadian team got to have Hyman on it. And I expect Bouchard. It's going to be tough, but he's going to get a look, yeah.
I totally agree with that assessment of Zach Hyman. And like you said, the playoffs started off, he wasn't in the top line. What did he do? He just went out there and hit every single person that he had to. He made an impact in the game. He'll take one off the face if he has to win a game for your team. And I totally agree. I think he's just got that versatility. And, I think some outsiders, maybe Oilers haters wouldn't like it. But to me, he's just a guy, the epitome of what you want on that team. And Bouchard, yeah, I mean, the NHL Network did their polls the last 2 years. Last year, they had him as the 9th best in the league. This year it was 10. So I think sometimes in Edmonton, maybe eyes are on him a little bit too much and a little overly critical. But I don't know if he's top 6, maybe a 7th or 8th guy if he could. I wouldn't mind having him there for Team Canada. Terry Ryan joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. We're going to be joined by Shang Peng. Talk some San Jose Sharks in a few minutes, followed by 5 questions. But TR, before we get to that one, how about those Toronto Blue Jays last night? Another comeback win. They are usually never out of a game.
That's another thing, right? I go back to, like, you can see it. And not only are they playing as a team, but they get confidence in the late innings. And there's been more than one of those recently. Now, a lot of haters would point and say, well, it's baseball. At some point, you're going to, and it happened just the night before, the other way around. I know, but more often than not, the Jays, when they need it, they come together and they put a push on. I mean, you can't always dictate certain things, especially in baseball, that happen. But, whether it's the weather or who you're playing against or who you're pitching against or who's coming in the bullpen, it's all kinds of things. But you rally together, and you clearly, I heard it. I can't remember. I wish I could, because the point is I didn't come up with this. I don't know if it was on Overdrive or ESPN or one of them, and they were talking about the Blue Jays putting time in the video room, and I was like, yeah, it's just like a quarterback, or any position play. I'm just saying, like, we often, it comes up and you don't really remember that when we're assessing a season. Right, and then you watch maybe the Netflix doc there on, quarterback, and one of the first, I think Mahomes was in there, and I was, well, of course he does all that work. I mean, it's Patrick Mahomes. He's great, but my God, the time he spent watching video and other players, and it goes somewhere, and the greats are great. Well, the Jays, no one really talks about that, but and I'd heard they do a lot of that, and they bounce ideas off each other. They come together. That's a team. It's not always like, when I say it, someone from my era, people think I mean clanging beers at the end of the night and being camaraderie and having camaraderie. And that's part of it. A lot of being a team is being just communicating, whether it's on the plane and what did you think here? Well, I late in the game there. I didn't see the slider coming. Like, what do you think? Well, I played 8 years longer than you. Maybe I know this, right? Maybe there's a guy like Guerrero that comes in and talks to a guy like George Springer, right? They're both right-handed batters, a lot of the same expectations. But Springer's been around a little longer, not that he's a rookie, but little things like that. And what I hear is that they're doing that all the time, and they want team success, and of course they want individual success, but it's by way of the team. And I think watching them, just watching the way they interacted with each other, I think that's obvious. And when you have that, I just think you tend to have less pressure, more confidence in the team, less pressure personally, and each at bat is almost methodical. You get up there and you're assessing it, and you give yourself a better chance to succeed, and you give the team a better chance to win. So I don't think it's a real fluke that it's 9 innings, right? So it's 7, 8, and 9 that they come together when the chips are on the line to produce some good things. It doesn't really surprise me given the characteristics of the team.
Yeah, it's going to be one heck of a series getting going tomorrow against the Milwaukee Brewers for the Jays. Bieber, Gossman, and Scherzmer on the mound. It should be a lot of fun. Of course, the Saturday and Sunday game you can listen to here on Sports 1440 on the AM dial. We'll take a break in a second here. Once again, though, I do want to let you know about the auction item we got going on, trying to raise some money for the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton, which of course faced some severe funding cuts and is trying to raise some cash. So amalgamated mining. I knew I was going to struggle with that word. Donating 2 tickets to Lainey Wilson tomorrow night out at Rogers Place in the Chairman's Club. That comes with the 2 tickets, parking, and a free dinner. All you have to do, text in your bid 1-833-401-1440 or give us a call at that same number. Right now, goalie Greg has it for $1,000. So if you want to raise that up, text in 1-833-401-1440, raising money for SACE. Or if that's a little bit expensive, totally understand. If you want to make a smaller donation, go to sace.ca. We'll take a break here. When we come back, more text, and we'll head down to San Jose, talk some Sharks with Shang Peng. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley, Wanya Gretz, Terry Ryan with you on Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X, brought to you by playalberta.ca.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
The Bricks famous tent sale is back. Find up to 60% off clearance items in the tent and store, with even more amazing deals arriving daily in every department. And Thursday to Monday, score limited time 5-day deals, like mattresses starting at just $99 and TVs starting at just $199. Plus, get a free Bluetooth party speaker when you spend $9.99 or more on furniture. Exclusions, terms, and conditions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
McDonald's Sundays and snack-size shakes are $2, or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats, like Alex here.
My phone.
I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
The Midsummer Sales Event is on now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. The all-new redesigned 2026 XC90 is here. Test drive the ultimate evolution in luxury. Lease or finance a 2025 XC60 from 0.49% and save $5,000. Finance or lease a 2026 XC40 from 2.99%. Come and discover the deals now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. The Midsummer Sales Event is on now at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Pro sports, local sports, minor leagues, you got it all. It's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Terry Ryan with you here. Of course, you can always reach us 1-833-401-1440 via the text line or email me, Connor at sports1440.ca. The Jason Gregor Show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Lotto Max an estimated $30 million tomorrow night. And tonight, you got the daily grand, $1,000 a day for 20 years, $7.3 million. Wouldn't be a bad payday at all. I think you could live a pretty good life if you were doing that. Hey, TR, $1,000 a day?
$1,000 a day. Boy, wouldn't that be nice? And it's a nice solid number, and enough, I think, that most people could take care of their family, I would think, and most things that they want. I mean, with that kind of money, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, that would just be absolutely exquisite news, knowing that for the rest of you. Imagine that off of your mind, all that trouble. You'd set up your family right now. Penny Lane and I could go on a trip wherever we wanted. There's so many things. That's a wonderful prize.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So playalberta.ca. Use your GameSense, GameSenseAB.ca. We are going to talk some San Jose Sharks here with Shang Peng in a minute here, just getting him on the line. That'll be around the NHL for McDonald's. Cool down with the $2 sundaes and snack-size shakes, or check out the McDonald's app for an exclusive $1 cone deal. Taxes, extra prices exclude delivery. And of course, last year, maybe for the San Jose Sharks, not quite what they would have wanted, but, some really nice pieces on that squad. Malcolm Celebrini comes into the NHL, has some really good moments for the team. They've got a lot of nice pieces there and some good news regarding the arena as well. Celebrating last season, 25 goals. Yeah, Tyler Toffoli as a vet jumps in there, a 30-goal season, quite nice. Will Smith had some great moments as well. William Eklund, maybe a little underrated, 58 points with San Jose. Well, we'll be joined by Shang Peng right now, covers the team for San Jose Hockey. Now, Shang, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing good, thanks. How's your summer been so far?
Pretty good. I'm actually in London right now.
You're not London, Ontario, right? London, England?
No, London, England, yeah.
Well, you know what? Thanks for taking some time. I guess it's pretty late there. How long have you been across the pond for?
Actually, I just got here yesterday.
Okay, are you doing the NHL European tour, or is this vacation?
No, it's just vacation, actually. Yeah, the European tour, I thought that was over anyway.
Well, I apologize that we bugged you on your vacation. We won't take up too much of your time. I guess first things first.
No worries.
Some news with the arena out in San Jose, keeping the Sharks in the Bay Area for a long time, hey?
Yeah, no big deal. No, I think I'm 7 hours ahead of you, so it's pretty late here. So, I'm not out anyway. But yeah, on the arena deal, that's fantastic news for the Sharks staying in the same place. So they're going to be there till 2051. And I look forward to first the renovations to SAP Center, and also too, a part of the deal is a new arena district, and that's going to be very exciting because obviously SAP Center is, I believe, the third oldest arena in the league at this moment. Also the oldest that hasn't had a major renovation, and so excited to see how that all comes together.
So putting a little bit of an update on it before the brand new arena. When it comes to the brand new arena, any expectations for size? Any other teams you think it'll be housing?
There's no sense of that right now. I think it's a bit early. They're going to decide on kind of a arena location, hopefully by, I believe, September 2027. But then though, the SAP Center, it's going to be renovated until I think roughly the mid 2030s. So whenever they decide arena location doesn't mean necessarily that the team is going to move there within 3, 4, 5 years of the arena location. So no sense of all that yet.
Want to look on the ice here. And Malcolm Celebrini this season, 70 games played at 25 goals, 63 points. Going into year 2, I'm sure the expectations will be even higher. But how did he live up to what you thought he would do in his rookie campaign?
I think that he outperformed his expectations, which were very high going in. But to see him take on not just on the ice, but leadership kind of role off the ice, just in terms of his work ethic and outworking everybody as an 18-year-old, that definitely gets people's attention. And if you look at the on the ice, becoming the Sharks' number 1 center, number 1 forward after they traded Mikhail Granlund, and not really skipping a beat in terms of his production, and also being a conscientious two-way player, trying at least at that, which is not something that 18-year-olds always do.
Joined here by Shang Peng from San Jose Hockey, now here on the Jason Gregor Show. Yeah, so outside of Malcolm Celebrini, obviously the team does have some nice pieces. What are the expectations for this upcoming season with Will Smith? Is he another guy you think you can count on to slide into that center 2 role?
Yeah, I think they're hoping that he can fill that role. They did draft him as a center, but last year, though, they kind of short-circuited the center experiment with him last year. He kind of struggled to start the season, and within a month, they put him on the wing. And that's where he found his success. The second half of the season, he averaged basically a point a game in the second half of the season, and that was when they moved him to wing. And so that's where he has found his success in the NHL. But he has played center his whole life. And right now, they didn't necessarily sign any sort of safety nets for Will in this case in terms of center. You know, their top centermen, their top established centermen right now are Celebrini and Alex Wenberg, and not a lot of established centermen past that. And so it's going to be kind of Will's job to kind of lose. And so interesting to see if he can kind of take control of that role. I think a lot of people still think that he will end up at wing in the NHL. And so this will be very interesting kind of, I wonder if the hook will be pretty short with them this year too, if it doesn't quite materialize for him at center this season.
Shane, nice to meet you. Terry Ryan here. I'm actually in Newfoundland, boys. I'm smack dab in the middle of both of you.
Hey, how's that?
We're covering a lot of ground. I'm curious. An intriguing prospect to me is Matthias Havelid. Okay, so this guy, I believe he was a second rounder a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, and he floundered off the bat. And then last year he caught fire. 18 games played in the Swedish 1 League, 14 points. They won it all, and he signs with San Jose. Is anybody talking about him? I know he's small, but I think he's sneaky good. What's the word on Matthias Havelid?
Yeah, I really wonder about him because he was a 2022 draft pick. At this point, you were hoping that someone drafted in that draft is flourishing, not in the kind of the second division Swedish hockey, but at the highest level of Swedish hockey or in the AHL. And that hasn't quite happened yet for Havelid, but maybe there are extenuating circumstances. And so we're going to see. He's going to be with the Barracuda this year. He's going to be in the AHL. And so it's going to be kind of a, make it or break it kind of season for Havelid.
You wrote an article recently, what has to go right for the Sharks to make the playoffs? So tell us, what has to go right?
Do you guys have an hour?
As much time as you need.
But it's one of those things where almost everything has to go right. And so there's probably when you talk about a team winning a Stanley Cup, right? There's probably 10 to 15 teams if everything goes right, they can win the Stanley Cup. So for the Sharks here, they really will need pretty much everything to go right. But I guess the essential things, if you want to kind of bake it into 3 or 4 things, I think they need Yaroslav Askarov to kind of take over the net immediately, put together kind of a Dustin Wolf kind of season. Askarov has the talent to put together a Calder Trophy challenging season, but he will have to do it behind one of the league's worst defenses, and which Dustin Wolf did not have to do last year. But that has to happen. Malcolm Celebrini has to take that next step. I'm talking superstardom kind of step. I think the most recent example I can think of that of kind of a 18-year-old, his sophomore year, kind of taking that giant leap was Steven Stamkos, who went from like a 40-point guy to a 46-goal scorer from his 18 to 19-year-old season. So they'll need Celebrini to take a huge leap. And then I think most importantly, or just as important as other things, but underrated, is they're going to need to stitch together a playoff caliber top four defense. And it's not likely because a lot of the guys they brought in might be considered 30-ish over the hill. But the guys they did bring in, their track record is pretty good. I mean, Orlov, Klingberg, Leddy. If those are guys you brought in 5 years ago, then you think, oh man, we're going to have a really stellar defense. And so they're going to need those guys to kind of turn back the clock a little bit, especially Klingberg and Leddy, who last year had kind of injury, just kind of broken up seasons for them last year. Klingberg obviously has been hurt for a couple of years there, and so if they can stitch together a better than average defense out of the pieces that they have, and it could also come in the form of Sam Dickinson or Shakir Mukumadulin, younger defensemen like that kind of emerging. But if they can do that, then those kind of three things happen, then we are talking about a way more competitive Sharks team than I think most people project.
We are talking San Jose Sharks with Shang Peng of San Jose Hockey Now and NBC Sharks. So I want to ask you about Ryan Moravsky. Just looking at him here, pretty great run he's had in the past, going from East Coast to the AHL and now the NHL. A quick journey, less than 10 years to do all of that. What did you see from him in his first full season as an NHL head coach?
I think that Warsofsky, I think he adjusted throughout the season. He came in, he wanted to play a certain way. He figured out maybe more up-tempo style. He figured out by mid-season, especially after they traded Mackenzie Blackwood, that this team just could not do it. There was a kind of a stretch after they traded Mackenzie Blackwood in December to the Four Nations, where I think the team won like 4 games or something like that, and they were getting pummeled. They were getting pummeled like they were a couple of years ago. And during Four Nations, they instituted more of a neutral zone, conservative kind of forecheck, hanging back a little bit, and that helped a lot. That made the games after Four Nations way more competitive. So little things like that, I think, showed kind of that obviously he wants to play a certain way, but that he was able to adjust. And so I think that there's definitely a promise there with Warsofsky. Hopefully, he takes kind of the lessons learned from difficult first year and can start to kind of to kind of move things forward here.
Now with Michael Misa, what do you think the plan is for his development? Is there any rush to get him into San Jose?
Yeah, I think the plan. I mean, I know he still hasn't signed his ELC, which is a little curious, but I think that he will, and I think that he will get a chance to start the season with the Sharks. The best case scenario is that he stays in San Jose all year. And the other scenario is that he gets his 9 games and then he does the whole 9 games AHL conditioning assignment. The 9 games probably won't happen in a row too. They'll probably sit him a few games, do kind of like that development plan that Will Smith did last year and Leo Carlson a couple of years ago in Anaheim. Basically slow roll his time to get to World Juniors. And then after World Juniors, he might rejoin Saginaw. So if that's sort of the worst case scenario, but best case still. And I think some people think that he can hang in the NHL and be okay for the full season. So if he can do that, then why not?
Now, I'm sure you have a pretty good pulse on the team. I just want to ask you, 22 wins 3 years ago, then 19, then 20. I'm sure fans want wins, but for an increased chance at Gavin McKenna, would the team, the fan, be okay with another tough season?
It depends on which fan you talk to. Some fans are still in the, hey, let's tank. If not McKenna, get a Verhoff, right? Which the Sharks do need probably more high-end defense in their system. Other fans are tired of all the losing. Some of the old-time fans who were here throughout the successful years, the Doug Wilson era. So it just depends on who you ask. I think that if you took a poll, it'd be fairly even on that. But I would say that a lot of fans, even if they wouldn't mind a McKenna or Verhoff, they do want to see some growth. You need to see, even if you end up the worst team in the league again, or you end up a lottery again, you need to see the young players really take a step, right? You need to see Celebrini not plateau. You need to see Will Smith take another step. Willie Macklin, you mentioned, Mukuma Doolin, Sam Dickinson, right? So you need to see that really work. And so if you do not rise much in the standings, as long as the young players are not taking steps back, then you feel pretty good about the progress of the rebuild.
Dang, being in Eastern Canada, a lot of the games and highlights that come over here first are from the Leafs, Habs, Sens, whatever. Now I stay up and watch the Oil. But I didn't see Timothy Littleton much. I saw his numbers were the same. You know, the last few years, see so much of him in Toronto. Did he evolve as a player in San Jose last season, or what's the juice? What did he expect? What are the expectations on a guy like Liljegren, and has he improved?
I think he's still a work in progress, which maybe you don't want to hear for him. I think he's 25 now. And obviously, too, San Jose is a really, really tough environment for any defenseman, right? Any kind of developing defenseman, whether it be a Liljegren or a Sam Dickinson or whatever. So I think that he's still kind of trying to find his game in San Jose. You know, there's moments of excellent puck moving, of even solid defense from a Timothy, but it's not regular enough that you can kind of pencil him in as, okay, he has found his way in San Jose.
Well, Shank, thanks so much for doing this today. Enjoy your vacation. Hey, no more radio hits.
I'm happy to do it as long as it's not in the middle of the day. So,
well, enjoy it. We'll talk to you again during the season.
Yeah, all right, man. Talk to you soon.
There you go. Shank Pan covers the San Jose Sharks with San Jose Hockey now, joining us live from London. When he said London, TR, I just had to make sure it wasn't Ontario, because that wouldn't be quite the same, I'd say.
I'm in Canada. I always think you need to say what I mean. London's, I think it's a little town that no one heard of. London, Ontario is a pretty big city with like a lot of history there. So if I'm in Canada, to be honest, I assume you're saying London, Ontario, unless you correct me otherwise.
Yeah, could have been doing a story on the Knights and their history. I mean, that would be something I'd read if you ever got into it. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll get to 5 questions with Donovan Paulson. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, streaming on Oilers Nation, Facebook, YouTube, and X. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Listen up, because you're not going to want to miss this. Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's biggest offer ever. For a limited time only, new players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit playalberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. With state-of-the-art motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Oodle Noodle Origins.
In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudel, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the new world. At Ellis Island, Nudel was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as
Oodle Noodle.
At On the Rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tunes.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Jeff Brab and 118th.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk, family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Some people wake up and get dressed for work in a suit and tie or a nice dress. At GS Construction, we're less fashion forward and more putting our best foot forward. We wear hard hats and steel toe boots, and most importantly, we wear 50 years of experience with pride. It's not glamorous, it's definitely not easy, but it matters. We do it well. So if you'd like to be part of something where your work matters, GS Construction is hiring. Just remember, when you come for an interview, ditch the tie. See more at gsconstruction.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your choice for residential windows locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer service for all your residential needs. Call 310 Glass. Visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
He's not just another pair of glasses. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for checking out Edmonton Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Back, it is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, also streaming on Oilers Nation Facebook, YouTube, and X. Hit that like button. We got the auction item tonight as we're raising money for SACE. 2 tickets to Lainey Wilson tomorrow down at Rogers Place, Chairman's Club, Section 101. Parking, free dinner at Rogers Place, plus 2 tickets to one of the top acts in the world. Raising money for the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton, which recently had some funding cuts. So if you want to make a bid, we're currently at $1,000. A pretty big bid there from goalie Greg earlier today. If you want to top him, you can do so. Text us 1-833-401-1440. Jason Gregor Show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Right now on the show, we're going to get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. It is the tent sale. You can score up to 60% off original prices on clearance items in the tent with new items arriving daily. Plus, get a free Bluetooth party speaker when you spend more than $999 on furniture at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
Alrighty, fellas. With the news yesterday that Connor McDavid is willing to let his extension play out, and obviously the Oilers having a couple other potential extension candidates, how many Oilers will have an extension come the end of September?
I'm not sure on this one. I don't know how many are up for it.
Well, you got Jake Wallman. Sorry, Terry.
Yeah, go ahead.
You got Jake Wallman, you got Vasily Podkolzin, you've got Matthias Ekholm. There's a number of a couple other little ones, but
I didn't realize Wallman was a new yeah, I'm just going to be giving a random guess because I don't know the exacts of it. I think most of the guys will be signed. That's what I think.
I'll say McDavid, and that's it. I think for the rest of those guys, they're going to probably want to play out a little bit. Like if you're Vasily Podkolzin and you have the mindset that I'm going to go out here and top my goal total from last year and improve, bet on yourself a little bit. I don't think it does you any good to sign it right now. I think you want to have some success.
Sure.
Matthias Ekholm for the Oilers, I think they want to see what he can do. They saw him with the injury last year down the stretch, and it wasn't ideal. So I think before they extend him, they might want to see what he can do. I think Wallman's a guy I'd probably like to get locked up a little earlier. You made the investment in him, but I'll say it's just McDavid, and Wallman will be the next one I'd be targeting.
alrighty. On the show yesterday, obviously you weren't here, Terry, but yesterday it was discussed, are Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl's failures if they can't win a cup? So for this question, what's the best team you've ever watched that never got it done and won?
For me, I mean, I have some kind of biased responses here because I did cheer for a Los Angeles Chargers team that was the best offense, the best special teams, and somehow missed the playoffs. So not only didn't they win, they didn't make the playoffs, but I go back to the 2006 season. They were absolutely loaded. LT was unbelievable. The defense was phenomenal, and they got into the playoffs after a bye week. And Marlon McCree, a guy who will be an enemy forever for most Chargers fans, intercepted Tom Brady, could have sealed the game. He decided to try to run it back. He fumbled. They lost the game. And that was the best team for me personally that didn't get a chance to win a trophy. So biased answer for me, but I'm going with the 06 Chargers.
Well, I'm going to go with a team that Oilers fans are very familiar with. I guess older Oilers fans, more experienced Oilers fans. But I always thought the Winnipeg Jets in the 80s just never got any credit because they always ran into the Oilers. But they had some great players like Dale Howardchuk. If you really go back and watch his year-by-year statistics and growth as a player and leadership, point totals, I mean, it's wild. And then they had guys like, you're not even thinking of, like Paul McLean, Thomas Steen, Dave Babbage, people know because of his big mustache. And that guy was deadly. Look at his points. He was like a first rounder, like 5th overall or something. He went all the way through. Again, I'm a kid living this out with only hockey card books and stickers and the hockey news to deal with. But I always, like every year, I thought maybe the Winnipeg Jets will do it this year. And I can't remember the exacts of it, but I know that they had a few close calls. Like they weren't as bad as maybe, losing every year looks like. But I thought they had some great teams. I don't know about the best ever to do it. I just figured I'd bring up something relevant. But they were, if you don't know about them, go back and look. And they had guys like Jim Kite and Laurie Boschman too that had dropped their mitts. It was pretty entertaining hockey.
For me, that 2015 Blue Jays team that lost to the Royals. Oh, that was that team should have won, could have won. I still can't believe they didn't. That one's up there. And then the like you, Connor, with the not making the playoffs. The Jays team with Robbie Ray, Marcus Semien, those two on those 1-year deals. Robbie Ray wins the Cy Young. Marcus Semien and Vladdy Guerrero both finished top 3 in MVP voting. Somehow that team didn't make the playoffs. If they would have squeaked in, they're the hottest team in baseball. I think they probably could have made a run for the World Series, but sometimes it just doesn't break your way. Off to number 3, fellas. We had former NFLer Braden Fehoko on the show, undrafted NFL player. So who, for you guys, who is the best undrafted player across any sport ever?
Go ahead, TR.
The best undrafted across any sport ever. Okay. I just went hockey, and I guess I could. You know what? There you go. I'll go with a bit of football. I believe Adam Vinatieri didn't get drafted, or am I wrong there? I believe the kicker.
I think you're right with that one. Yeah.
I think I'm right. There you go. You're asking me my favorite. I always loved. I didn't know. Again, I've evolved later than everybody else in football. We don't have it here growing up, so I just got in like through everybody else, like playing pro hockey and watching what they meant. And as it's evolved, there are certain players like Adam Vinatieri, and I think he kicked a couple in the Super Bowl, like to win it. Like so, it's legit. It's just it's a little bit off the board because it's a kicker. But screw it, I'll go with Adam Vinatieri.
Undrafted out of South Dakota State in 1996, went on to play NFL Europe before going to the Patriots. And you're right, won them some games, hit some huge field goals in the snow as well. Also won with the Colts. So I like that one to answer, TR. Like there's a bunch for me. I think like in the NBA, Ben Wallace, that guy was an animal and he was undrafted, undersized for the position, but still was phenomenal. Antonio Gates, of course, I got to give you a biased Chargers one, but he became a Hall of Famer. Adam Oates, Martin St. Louis, Warren Moon. There's a ton, but I'll go with Warren Moon. Just, I think there's other reasons behind him not being drafted, not just ability, but he came to the CFL, crushed it for the Eskimos, and then got his chance and went on to have a Hall of Fame career. So Warren Moon undrafted for me would be a big one, Donovan.
That's a good one. I mean, for me, when I hear undrafted, I just think of Marty St. Louis.
Yeah.
I think that's for hockey especially, that's the big one. The other one, I guess, Mark Giordano is undrafted too. I feel like there's more in hockey than any other sport, but it goes to show how tough it is to be an undrafted player. And I guess Kirk Warner would be another one, huh?
Yeah, Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner. Sure. Yeah. Off to number 4. We went out to San Jose with Sheng Peng earlier in the program, of course. They were last in the league last year. So why don't you guys give me your bottom 3 teams in the NHL next season?
You know what? I hate to say it, but I feel like San Jose and Chicago are going to be there again. Buffalo, as bad as we kind of feel like they are and they are eliminated from playoff contention, And I don't think they're going to be in that category, but I'll say, let's say tough times ahead in Boston. I think Boston's going to have a downturn this year.
I think they are too. And I couldn't decide between Seattle and Pittsburgh for my last. I mean, it's Chicago. I don't see much light there. I mean, I do, Bedard and a few players, but I just don't like, and San Jose could be there, but I just see much brighter light at the end of that tunnel. But you know what? I'll just go a little bit off the board. I'll go Chicago, Seattle, not much pizzazz there. And I don't know. It's hard for me to say, but I don't see Pittsburgh doing much. And, maybe it's time for them to come 32nd so they can get another first overall pick that lasts them 20 years. I mean, it's amazing their luck. Maybe they're thinking that way. It'd be tough to still have those 3 or 4, aging superior players and do that. But, I don't know. I'll go Pittsburgh.
Could you imagine Lemieux, Crosby, and McKenna? That'd be a good run.
Yeah, it would be. And it makes sense for their big guns to get traded. Now, who knows if Sid wants to do that, and who am I to say for him to do it? I mean, whatever. But Pittsburgh are in a great position to get rid of those guys, rebuild, come 32nd on purpose, and go on another run in 5 years.
Pittsburgh, very, very interesting team with an interesting future. And, of course, Sidney Crosby. Off until number 5 here, International Cabernet Day. So I want to ask you, what is your favorite food and drink pairing?
Well, when I hear drink, I hear alcohol. Now, contrary to popular belief, I don't love the taste of alcohol. I don't drink it unless I'm going out to, like my buddies the other night, Oasis. The last beer or sip of alcohol I had was Sunday night at Oasis. That's the way I live. So I don't really pair, white wine with fish and red wine with pastas. To me, it's all poison. I like Diet Coke. I'm trying to get off of it. I don't know if it's much better. But so the pairing, if it got to be alcohol, I assume that's what you meant. I guess like a hot dog and a beer at an MLB game. That probably that.
Does it have to be alcohol here, Jack?
It does not have to be alcohol.
Because if I'm going alcohol, like beer and pizza, always a pretty good combination. But I think the best one is a piece of chocolate cake or cookies with a glass of milk. I might be a weird one for that one, but that's probably the way I go. Donovan, how about you?
Cookies and milk is an absolute classic, but I will. I'll stick with a little wine here. I'll go little red wine and some steak. That's a classic for a reason. You gotta love that one. And if I was to go non-alcoholic, I love a good Pepsi with just about anything. You can insert any food you want there. Usually, it kind of winds up being a nice Pepsi with a nice Alfredo pasta. But I can drink Pepsi with just about anything.
Classy. TR, thanks for doing this. What are the plans for the weekend hold for you?
Oh, there's a lot on the go. I got my daughter as her final week with soccer. If they win tomorrow night, it's the club national. So if they win tomorrow night, they're going to the National Soccer Championships under 15. If they lose, they're going to stay home and watch it on TV. So I'll be with her, and I'll be chilling with a lot of my buddies. We got the ice. We always get the ice on Friday at noon, and then probably head into my dad's for a couple of beer. Nothing serious. I got a big weekend, but little bit of R&R. And I do want to correct before we go earlier, just so people don't think I'm nuts. I thought you meant people that I thought there were people that were left to sign before the season. Of course, I'd want Ekholm to play before I saw him get signed because of all the injury last year, and he's aging. But that was a good point you made. I just wanted to point it out. People listening to me talk, that would have sounded insane to just jump on the boat and sign everybody before the season starts.
DR, thanks so much for doing this today. Have a fantastic weekend, and we'll talk to you on Tuesday.
Thank you, Donovan. Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Edmonton. I'll see you guys again soon.
There you go. TR, our Tuesday, Thursday co-host here on the Jason Gregor Show, former NHLer, podcaster, author, actor, Hall of Famer. Guy does it all, and we appreciate him making some time for us here on the show. Still to come on the Jason Gregor Show, we're going to be joined by Bill Schmid, Green Bay Packers post-game host. As in case you missed it somehow, Micah Parsons somehow becomes a Packer. Don't know how this happened. The Dallas Cowboys allowed it to happen, I suppose. 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark from Micah Parsons. He gets a huge extension to stay with Green Bay. Unbelievable move for them in one of the toughest divisions in the NFL. We'll talk about that. But coming up next will be Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet. Right now, we will get to a Sports 1440 update with Donovan Paulson, brought to you by Lakes Heating and Cooling. They're hiring HVAC installers and plumbers. Starting bonuses to the right candidate. Strong benefits. RRSP matching. Tuition reimbursement. You can apply today at lakesheating.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Micah Parsons is now a Green Bay Packer. Of course, getting traded from the Dallas Cowboys in a sign and trade, a 4-year extension with the Green Bay Packers, carrying a $136 million guarantee with an AAV of $47 million and a max number of $188 million. MLB action currently underway. Only one game. It's the Atlanta Braves on top of the Phillies. 1-0. You still to come. You have the Marlins in New York clashing with the Mets. The Phillies, or the Yankees, excuse me, they are in Chicago to battle the White Sox. It was the Red Sox over the Orioles 3-2. The D-backs, they edged out the Brewers 6-4. The Astros over the Rockies 4-3. The Cardinals, they took down the Pirates. And the Giants, they were victorious over the Cubbies. Coming up right after the break, it's Mark Spector. I'm Donovan Paulson. That's your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Reports suggest the Canadian taste buds are bored to tears.
My mouth can't handle another dull drink.
Summertime smoothie experts everywhere are recommending a watermelon wake-up from Booster Juice.
It's so smooth, cool, and refreshing.
And ridiculously delicious. Enjoy the Watermelon Wave and Watermelon Explosion smoothies, available all summer long at a Booster Juice near you. Stay cool, Canada.
Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
The Brick's famous tent sale is back. Find up to 60% off clearance items in the tent and store, with even more amazing deals arriving daily in every department. And Thursday through Monday, score limited time 5-day deals, like mattresses starting at just $99 and TVs starting at just $199. Plus, get a free Bluetooth party speaker when you spend $9.99 or more on furniture. Exclusions, terms, and conditions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Hey everybody, it's Gene Principe, the Prince of Puns, and I've got something that definitely will float your boat. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from LA and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters and have some drinks with umbrellas in them, you could attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Jason Strudwick, Kelly Buchberger, Ron Lowe, and more. Don't miss out on every hockey fan's dream cruise, the Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. It's going to be one haul of a trip. Prices start at just $23.99, and part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton or call 1-833-347-7678. Call and save $200 when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. Cast Tours, 1-833-347-7678.
Portion of this hour brought to you by Culligan. For all your residential water needs, your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles. That's Culligan.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 5 o'clock. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, streaming on Oilers Nation Facebook, YouTube, and X. Connor Halley, Donovan Paulson, Josh Fenwick with you here. Text line 1-833-401-1440. Lots to get to still on the show. Bill Schmid going to join us, talk about the Green Bay Packers acquiring Micah Parsons from the Dallas Cowboys. An absolutely massive trade in the NFL today. Parsons gets rewarded. The Cowboys get 2 firsts and defensive tackle Kenny Clark back. I don't know how it got to this, but we'll head out to Green Bay in a few minutes here. Coming up next, we'll be joined by Mark Spector. But first, I want to let you guys know about the auction item we've got today. 2 tickets to Lainey Wilson tomorrow night down at Rogers Place in the Chairman's Club. That's Section 101. Comes with parking and a free dinner, of course. We're raising money for the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton, which recently underwent severe funding cuts. And we want to help them raise some money to help survivors of sexual assault. So if you want to get in, 1-833-414-1440 is how you do so. You can phone or text. Right now, goalie Greg has the package at $1,000. So hopefully we can get a little bit higher. We like to go up by at least $50 if you're able to do so. Get you the tickets to the show, free parking, and a dinner before the concert. And if that is too much for you, totally understand. It's a lot of money, but you want to make a donation, www.sace.ca. It's the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton. You can make a donation there, and anything you can donate would be appreciated and go a long way. Right now, let's get to the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. They specialize in underground infrastructure. They make your life more enjoyable with running water and indoor plumbing. They're the grinders of the construction industry. GS Construction, as we bring in Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet. Spec, good afternoon. How's the day going?
Wow. So didn't Dallas's basketball team just lose a really great player because they decided they didn't want to pay him or he was out of shape or something? Now Parsons leaving the Cowboys. Like, shouldn't you hang on to guys like that?
Common sense would say, yeah. I mean, I don't know how it gets to that point. I guess for the Dallas Mavericks, it worked out okay. They get Cooper Flagg and Antonio Davis. But for the Dallas Cowboys, I don't know, Spec, you tell me, is there a more polarizing owner in sports than Jerry Jones?
Yeah, he's very involved. And, there haven't, let's go back through some history of involved owners. Usually they're a bit of a pain in the rear end because they're not football experts or hockey, the expert in the sport. They just have a lot of money and bought the team. Really, owners are just really, really rich fans most of the time. And now Jerry Jones is bigger than that. What are the Cowboys worth? What's that stadium worth that he built? Like, he's a wheel, there's no doubt, but I'm not sure that he doesn't try to GM that team a little bit. And, George Steinbrenner was that with the Yankees, but the Yankees won. And, Jerry Buss was that with the Lakers, but the Lakers did end up winning. I'm not sure that Jerry Jones can say that, can get to the end of that conversation. He's as involved or more than any owner I can think of, but they don't win, do they?
No, and they have good players. They seemingly draft well, but it always seems to be drama when it comes to extending them. Their wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, it took a long time. Dak Prescott, on the other side, Stephon Diggs, or no, not Stephon Diggs, but the brother. It takes forever, and then it eventually happens. So I thought for sure this would happen with Micah Parsons, and then it didn't. So kind of a shocking one to start off with, but hey, we'll see. Maybe they got a master plan, but I really like it for the Green Bay Packers. I think that's a great move for them, especially in that division with Detroit, Minnesota, and Chicago, all competitive teams. Very, very good move for Green Bay, and they make no mistake and pay the man, which good on them for doing so, and good for Parsons to get his money. Now, Spec, we had a good question from Donovan Paulson during 5 questions, and he mentioned, of course, Connor McDavid is going to get his contract, but there are some other Oilers this season that could get extended as well. When you look at Matthias Ekholm, Jake Wallman, potentially Vasily Podkolzin. But when you look at those guys, if and when a deal happens, when do you think it would happen?
Oh, those are I would say after the New Year guys for sure, right? Like, it's varying guys. Jake Wallman is pretty established in the league, and I think he's the most important of all. You acquired a really good young defenseman. Matthias Ekholm is going to sign a shorter term deal, and let's face it, he's getting old. He's on the back 9 here. Wallman is a guy that I want to lock up if I'm the Oilers because how old is he going to be? Is he 30?
No, I'll confirm here.
An age on him. But he's got a bunch of years left, and he's going to be a big part of things around here. I like the player a lot. He's a physical, skilled defenseman, and you don't get a ton of those guys. And he'll stand you up at center ice. Like, I like his game. And I'm sure the Oilers do too. So to me, if he's having, it's going to become up to the player, Connor. If the players, any of these players, are having an unbelievable season, then the Oilers, if they want to sign them early, they're just going to have to buck up big time. If they're having an average season, I suppose you could say, look, you're doing what you've done for the last 2 years, Jake Wallman. We know what your numbers are. You're consistent. Let's make a deal and let's sign it in February or March. That could happen. Matthias Ekholm will wait until the summertime, I would think. I just sense that. And probably Podkolzin will too. He's an RFA. And what Podkolzin needs to do is unlock the offensive key here. Like, we all see a ton of hockey player in Podkolzin. So did Vancouver. The Canucks never really got it out of him. Edmonton has found that, in the same way of Clean Costin, they found the defensive side and the physical side, and he's digging pucks out. He's doing a ton of great stuff like you want, right? Find me a hockey fan in Edmonton that doesn't want Podkolzin re-signed and part of this team. But if I'm his agent, if I'm him, I don't want to sign until, like, if I'm having if I could figure out how to have a 20-goal season, then I want to sign, because then I'm going to make a lot more money.
Yeah, totally agree with you. That's what I was thinking as well. Like, the other guys, you kind of wait and see. Matthias Ekholm, want to see what he can do. And if I'm Podkolzin and I get off to a good start, well, keep it going here. Strike when the iron's hot and get that deal signed. Jake Wallman, 29 years old, turns 30 on February 20th. So, get halfway through the year.
Yeah, so I could sign Jake Wallman to a 4 or 5 year deal, I think. He's, in my understanding and I'm thinking about the guy, he's been pretty healthy his whole career. He's a skilled player. He's a character guy. I think, he's part of the thing here. So I'm not telling you you're giving him 8 years, but I probably don't want him walking away as a UFA. I like Jake Wallman.
Spec, do you want to look at just at the Four Nation face-off going to the Olympics? Because the players still down in Calgary for the orientation camp. I think they did some golfing yesterday. DVD was telling us. How much turnover do you expect to see from that team? Like, it is hard to argue with the result, and they played some pretty good hockey. The familiarity would probably go a long way, but if you had to guess, try to put a number on it, how many new faces do you think in the starting lineup?
Well, there's always going to be a few. Let's face it, there's going to be, like, I could probably give you, what is it it's going to be? Is it a 23-man roster? Let's say it's 23-man. I could give you 12 guys are on that team for sure. Like, absolutely for sure. Then there's another 5 or 6 that, as long as they're having good seasons and they're healthy, they're going to be really hard to unseat. And then there's, like, the last 5 guys, right? Who's going to be your fourth line? Were you happy with what you had at Four Nations? Or maybe you want a little bit of a different look down there. Did you like your line combinations? Maybe, like, Marner wasn't great in that Four Nations, but to me, Marner makes your team because he's such a good player, but maybe you got to play him with someone else. So maybe that facilitates a new guy. Maybe I don't know, the goalies have got to be pretty wide open, man. I'm not sure how we're picking goalies for this team. And the last thing is, you got a guy like Zach Hyman. To me, if Zach Hyman comes back and puts together a 30-goal season, Zach Hyman's on that team. That means somebody isn't. So there's going to be an injury along the way. So there will be some change. I'd say you'll probably have 4 or 5 different names in that Red Four Nations.
You get a chance to talk to Connor McDavid quite often and maybe get a little bit of a glimpse into, how he is. Do you think there's any chance he would speak to the selection committee and just say, hey guys, like, Zach Hyman knows how to play with me. It's a quick turnaround at this tournament. Might be a good idea to bring on the team, because not only that, I just think that you can put him anywhere in the lineup. TR brought up a really good point about how last year in the playoffs, he wasn't on the top line and he was out there throwing 12, 14 hits a game. Like, it just seemed like to me that guy's a gamer. And if I was Connor McDavid, I might be trying to say something to influence their decision.
Well, I'm pretty sure when I say this, management will talk to Connor McDavid, among others, when it comes to selections. Like Doug Armstrong would talk to Connor McDavid and say, we're thinking this, we're thinking that. What do you think? Again, among other guys. But Connor McDavid would not phone up Doug Armstrong, in my esteem, and say, hey, here's who I think should be on this team. I think that I got a better chance of playing in that tournament than that happening. So Connor, when asked, will give his totally honest opinion, and I would tell you that I would suspect that what you're saying is true. He would say, hey, this guy fits like a glove with me. I love this guy. I want him on my line. I'd like him on my line. But you won't catch Connor McDavid GM in that team, Connor. That is when the Oilers hired Jeff Jackson, and then they went out and hired Chris Knobloch, and the word got out there that Connor McDavid was GMing and making hires and stuff. He was really, really upset about that. He did not like that perception one bit. I spoke to him privately about him. I've spoke to people around him about it. He hated that. So no, he will not phone Doug Armstrong up and say, hey, here's my thoughts on who should be on the team. That will never happen.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't blame him. I remember, Brandon Douglas and I, when the change happened at coaching and Chris Knobloch came in, and the amount of, who's next? Connor McDavid's junior, coach is going to come in here and do this too. Like
masseuse.
Yeah, exactly. People were actually kind of upset about it. So I don't blame Connor McDavid at all. You don't want that perception. But I mean, if I was him, I might just lean in at a practice, maybe just, hey, he's pretty good. Mark Spector joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show, taking a look around the sporting world.
If you were him, we wouldn't be doing this interview right now.
Yeah, exactly. I want to talk a little Major League Baseball as well, because this weekend we're going to have an absolute gem of a series. The Milwaukee Brewers, #1 spot in the National League in Toronto, taking on the #1 team in the AL, the Toronto Blue Jays. If you were a betting man, would you be wagering any money that this is a future World Series?
Ooh, well, it's a long way to go. I mean, I really like Milwaukee. I watched them a little bit when in that Cubs series. I watched about 3 of those games, and they are very well rounded. They've got every base covered. I hate to use that one, but it's not a pun. They've got a good team, man. Their starting pitching is excellent. Their bullpen is excellent. Defensively, they're really strong. They got a killer good catcher. Positionally, they're very sound. They steal bases when they need to. I don't know what they don't do. To me, that Milwaukee team is as good as it is. Sorry, someone's calling me in the middle of my head. So I would say to you that I like Milwaukee a lot. I think Toronto's going to need to pull a little bit bigger rabbit out of their hat if they're ever going to get to the World Series. I'm not saying they can't. But if you told me which one of these teams is going to be in the series, I would say I would more suspect Milwaukee to make it. I'd love to see the Blue Jays get in there. I'd love to see them play the Cubs in there. So let's see what happens. But this weekend will be good. If you're the Blue Jays and you're stacking yourself up here, we're coming down to crunch time. Let's see how you look against, I guess, the very best team in baseball, Milwaukee. Let's see how you handle them.
Do you think Joe, baseball fan, would be appreciative of the potential World Series with the Jays and the Brewers? It was just a couple of years ago, wasn't it? We had Dodgers, Yankees, the two huge franchises. This would almost be the opposite.
Yeah, it would be brutal for ratings. It would be whoever gets those games. Is it Fox and I don't know who else does it. They would cry in their beers. They would hate Milwaukee and Toronto. That would be like a Carolina San Jose Stanley Cup final. Man, the ratings would suck in the States. Milwaukee's a very small center. Wisconsin is not that populous of a state. No. I mean, let's face it. Why do you think they show the Yankees in Boston every chance they get, right?
Yeah.
So, no, baseball's like hockey. They don't control who wins. They don't put their finger in the scale. But if you put, what's his name, Silver, the commissioner, if you put him on truth serum, of course he'd want the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Red Sox. That's how they make their best money. That's how they get their best ratings. I don't blame the guy a bit.
People like me grown. Spec, thanks for doing this today. Really appreciate it. And we'll get you back on tomorrow to wrap up the week.
Hey, sounds good, Connor.
There you go. Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show, as he does every day, Monday through Friday, just after 5 o'clock. The text line, 1-833-401-1440. Team Dean says, I'm a Cowboys fan. Michael Parsons, not worth $47 million. This was a player believing the hype. Good trade for Jerry. Team Dean. Okay, so I'm just looking into it. The money is quite high. Did the Green Bay Packers overpay? Maybe. And where I'm looking, it's $48 million. That's above TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, Daniel Hunter, and Max Crosby is the highest paid edge rushers. Defensive players, really. It's all edge rushers. Then you get Sauce Gardner and Derek Stingley as the DBs coming in at $30 million. The price is high, no doubt about it. But Micah Parsons, 26 years old, like 52 and a half sacks. If you're going to pay someone, it might as well be him. The Green Bay Packers probably have the luxury of being able to do so and factor that in, like when they made the trade, that they could do it. But right now, it's a clear-cut winner. Green Bay won the trade. We can look back at it in a few years, and we'll see who's selected. I mean, if Dallas has a couple studs, maybe uses those picks to trade up in the draft to get that next guy, maybe Arch Manning, whoever it might be, then like, yeah, okay, good move for the Cowboys. But I don't think you're going to find too many Green Bay fans that are like, oh, I can't believe we're paying him $48 million. He's an absolute stud. Not Fred Satori, guys. I think I might be in the Morty, but I don't think Parsons is worth that much money. He is a star and a superstar, but I remember 2 years ago in the playoffs, they lost to Green Bay because they couldn't get high pressure on the quarterback. High-level quarterbacks in the NFL nowadays release the ball in 2 seconds. There's no defensive lineman that can get in that quickly, especially during the playoffs against the playoff team. So, yes, he's a great player in the regular season, but I think you can spend the money elsewhere and find a serviceable lineman. I respectfully disagree. I don't think there's too many guys out there that do what Micah Parsons does, and they're not available for trade. Like the last time we saw this was 2016 when the Bears traded Khalil Mack to the Raiders traded Khalil Mack to the Bears. Like there's not too many 26-year-olds out there who have 4 straight seasons. Let me just confirm here. 4 straight seasons of double-digit sacks, 13 and a half, 14, 12 last year in 13 games. Want to see him on the field. You're right about postseason. Now, he does only have 1 sack in the postseason, so that's fair. But, man, anytime you get a chance to add a guy like Micah Parsons, I think you do it. I love it.
Connor, he's getting $1 more million guaranteed than Nick Bosa. He is getting $12 more million guaranteed than TJ Watt.
It's not crazy.
That's not even crazy at all. Like, and you look at the total, I guess if you want to look at AAV, he is getting $6 million more than TJ Watt. He's getting $7 million more than Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett gets the most guaranteed money as an edge rusher. I look at that deal and I actually think, relative to what was just recently signed here, kind of a deal. Like, as much as it's astronomical, relative to TJ Watt's recent deal, I can tell you which one I'd rather sign personally.
Yeah, I don't think it was like a great deal from like, I don't think I would pay it. I'll say that. If the Chargers were in on the running, I'd be all over that one. When TJ Watt signed his $41 million deal, we said like, okay, well, there's your starting point. How much more does it take? To be honest, I thought it'd be closer to like 44, 45. So if that's where your number is, are you going to let $3 million a year get in the way of it? For Micah Parsons, no. I think I'd rather overpay by a few million and get him than not write the check and not get him.
In NFL terms, what is $6 million relative to an impact player? Is that going to really get you the biggest impact player that's going to help you win a Super Bowl? In my mind, no. You give $6 more million on an AAV perspective than TJ Watt. Would I have blinked at 50? Yeah, probably. But you're under 50. That's really all that matters. And you're under the total guarantees of Myles Garrett. That's a massive win, right? Like, sure, would you maybe like them to be, I don't know, a couple million cheaper? But if you're overpaying by $2 million for Micah Parsons, who flipping cares?
That's what I'm saying. Like for me, it might be a $3 million overpay, but you're getting one of the best defensive players in the league. Now you know who's smiling. That next wave of young studs, Will Anderson, Abdul Carter, maybe Aiden Hutchinson. Those guys thinking, okay, maybe I'm not going to get 47, 48 mil, but maybe I get 43, 44. What a deal. What a great news day for us here at Sports 1440's NFL fans. We'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to be joined by post-game host for the Green Bay Packers, Bill Schmidt. It's coming up next on the Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, also streaming on Oilers Nation Facebook, YouTube, and X, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Is your company drowning in paperwork and administrative tasks? Do you need more data to make better decisions? Nectar.io is your company's all-in-one solution for fleet and materials management, safety, time cards, and GIS-based project management. Now is the time to capture and transform field, site, and shop data into boardroom-level business intelligence, all with one login. Visit Nectar.io to book a demo today. Nectar.io, your business made better.
McDonald's Sundaes and snack-size shakes are $2, or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here. My phone. I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Ah, summer. The sun's out, the road's calling. And your car said... Nope. Don't let your summer road trip turn into a roadside nap. Swing by Napa Auto Parts. Napa has the trusted tools, smarts, and quality parts for all your automotive needs this summer. Get your vehicle ready for the road and just in time for your kids to start testing your patience and sanity.
Are we there yet?
With over 85 locations in
Absolutely
Alberta, visit your local
exquisite
Napa
news
store
knowing that
today
for the...
or
Oh,
online
yeah,
at
absolutely. So PlayAlberta.ca at Shangping in a minute. San Jose Sharks are Pacific Sharks. Not quite what they would have wanted. Of course, last year maybe for the San Jose Shark deal, taxes extra, prices exclude, delivery, and of course, last year maybe for
the very best.
That's why our legendary employee pricing is back. This August, get the Ford you want at the price you deserve with exclusive deals reserved for our closest kin. It's our way of saying, welcome home.
The coffee's on. Drive into Nisku Ford or visit niskuford.ca today. Above expectations. Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 Triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
The ATB Classic is returning to Northern Bear Golf Club.
An international field of professionals will battle it out on their path towards the PGA Tour.
Advance tickets are $20 or upgrade your access to sit greenside in the Sports 1440 Birdie Bar. Presented by Sleeman.
Net proceeds go to Youth on Course to give kids age 6 to 18 access to play golf for just $5.
Come see the future stars of the PGA Tour.
The ATB Classic.
September 11th to 14th.
Get your tickets at atbclassic.com.
Portions this hour brought to you by Papa John's. At Papa John's, get one large, one topping pizza for just $14.99. Use promo code L1499 at papajohns.ca or the Papa John's app.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley, Donovan Paulson, Josh Fenwick with you here. The Jason Gregor Show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Tonight, it's the daily grand, $1,000 a day. For 20 years, we did the math. That's $7.3 million. Tomorrow, we got the Lotto Max, an estimated $30 million. Check it out, playalberta.ca. When you make your deposit, use code word Gregor50, and you get a free $50 bet each month. Playalberta.ca. Use your GameSense, tonight, the auction continues. Goalie Greg, unless someone comes in late with a nice bid, might have the package. We've got 2 tickets to Laney Wilson tomorrow night down at Rogers Place in the Chairman's Club. That's section 101. Comes with parking and a free dinner. Raising money for the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton. Of course, unfortunately, there were severe funding cuts, and we're trying to help them raise a little bit of extra money. So if you want to get in on this, text us, call us, 1-833-401-1440. The bid, currently $1,000. If that money is too much and you'd still like to help out, sace.ca for a donation. SACE.ca. I know Sports 1440 listeners are very generous, so any extra cash you might be having a line around, you want to make a donation, make sure you go do so. We'll do this auction for about another 20-25 minutes, but goalie Greg, right now it is looking pretty good. Right now we got to head out to Green Bay, Wisconsin. Some huge news in the NFL world as Micah Parsons going from the Dallas Cowboys to the Green Bay Packers. It's huge. I didn't think this would happen. I thought for sure the deal would get done in Dallas the way it always has done. It's always just dragged out longer than it should, but Parsons gets moved to the Green Bay Packers for 2 first-round picks and defensive tackle Kenny Clark. We're going to discuss it right now with Green Bay Packers post-game host Bill Schmid. Bill, how you doing today?
I'm doing phenomenal, fellas. I'd be only doing better if I could afford to grab those Laney Wilson tickets in the club. But maybe if I could get a direct line to Micah Parsons, he's got a couple extra bucks lying around. Might let me be able to hold something, maybe be able to do some good.
You know, he might not even notice that gone from the contract that he signed with the Green Bay Packers. So, Bill, I want to ask you this. Like, you get a chance to add this type of player, you do it. You don't care what the picks are. You don't care what you have to pay him. You just get the deal done. How long do you think the Packers have been working on this deal with the Cowboys?
Well, from the indications and from the reporting by, I think it was Rappaport after the news broke, was that this has been going on for about a week now. Ricky Scoops had this maybe 3 days ago on Twitter, and instantly people downplay news like this or rumors in Green Bay for good reason. The Packers very rarely would give up the sizable capital to get a player like Micah Parsons. The difference, however, is that you are in a situation where if you're going to be a Super Bowl caliber team, and Brian Gutekunst mentioned the general manager earlier this year during his wrap-up press conference at the end of the year that it's time to start competing for championships. Well, then you're not going to lose enough games to draft a player like Micah Parsons. So it becomes, how do you find one? And I do believe, even though they came up short through the offseason, the Packers looked and tried to find the big-time acquisition on the defensive side to add into, right now, a very good football team. And they were in a one-score game with the eventual Super Bowl champions a year ago, and ultimately fall short. But there's a case to be made, and Josh Jacobs made it to us when we were at Radio Row at the Super Bowl this year, that he believes they gave Philadelphia the best game out of anybody in the playoffs. And I think that's kind of the sentiment in the locker room, even though they left so much meat on the bone in 24, losing 5 games in the division, which was clearly the best in football. So how do you win some of those games, those one-score games? Well, you get off the field on third down, and that was and has been a problem for the Packers for a number of years now. It was throughout the prime and tail end of Aaron Rodgers' career. One of the reasons why they've not been able to get back to the Super Bowl in now 15 seasons. But for the better part of the last decade, they've been a good team that has struggled at getting the biggest stop at the keyest moment. You're thinking Rodgers' final game in Green Bay against Detroit, team that's already eliminated from playoff contention. They got 3 first downs on a final drive that if the Packers stop them, they have a chance to score a touchdown, win the game, and go to the playoffs and see what happens. I think they had won 4 straight at that time. So it's clearly been something that has held them back. And now, thanks to Jerry Jones deciding that this was personal enough that he did not feel comfortable continuing on their business relationship with Micah Parsons, the Packers capitalized. And I'll be completely honest with you, fellas. Like, $1,000 is not that much for those Laney Wilson tickets to be able to donate to a phenomenal cause. I don't know what everybody believes. 2 first-round picks in Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark's the Packers Hall of Famer, right? He was drafted here as the youngest player in the NFL, going on a decade. They don't give out third contracts. They gave him one before last year, but he ended up statistically having the worst year of his career. He did have an injury and played through it in the entire year, and I don't believe missed a game. So he's a warrior. He's a phenomenal player, but he's going to be 30 and has played a ton of football, and they got a 26-year-old pass rusher who's arguably the best in football. Yeah, you got to pay him a bunch of money. That one I don't care about. The 2 first-round picks, it is tough, but it's a price that you can pay and you can absolutely stomach when the reward is Micah Parsons.
I'm totally with you. Like, we kind of ran through the numbers in the previous segment. So TJ Watt gets 41. USA Today has the number for Parsons at 48. If you ask me, you get the younger player who's had a good track record. He's got the production. I would say that if the negotiation starts at 41, I would expect the number to come in at like 44, 45. And then to get it up to 48 is $3 million. So am I mad about a $3 million overpay for Micah Parsons? No, I do that in a second. I give up first picks and a player if I have to. As a Charger fans, I'm gutted they didn't go out there and make that move themselves. So what do you think this message now sends to the rest of the defensive players in that room? Like, I got to feel they're pretty encouraged about this addition.
No doubt about it. And we've talked about it a couple of different ways, because if indeed the Packers are trying to send subliminal messages, I don't know that they're subtweeting their locker room from the front office, right? Like saying something about somebody but not putting in their at sign. Like, you can do different things to be able to send messages. They drafted a wide receiver in the 1st and 3rd round. They have Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs coming up on free agent years. And Jaden Reed's like, hey, man, can I hold something? I said a single season record for a rookie that Sterling Sharp held for 3 decades. He's going into the Hall of Fame. And the Packers are like, we're going to get younger and add in more competition. So the Packers have been hell-bent on adding young, controllable talent and competition to their roster over the better part of the last 3 years now. And it's a ringing refrain from Gutekunst. Any opportunity he speaks into a microphone is that they're going to add competition. So I think it's a message to a number of guys that, listen, we just committed $48 million a year. It's going to be a little sparing for cash. We're going to be a little strapped for cash. But they also have 9 first-round picks on that defensive side of the ball. So it's put up or shut up time for a lot of guys. It's time to go, and there's a reason why right now I think they're going to be, over the next couple of hours, the most bet team, most bet team in the last day to win the Super Bowl. And I think there's going to be a lot of people that have that ticket because of the potential that's out there in this NFC that is, yes, the Eagles ran away with the Super Bowl, but they were in 2 really close games in the playoffs. I do think the NFC is a little bit more open than you would think.
Bill Schmidt, Green Bay Packers post-game host of 97.3 The Game in Wisconsin and Milwaukee, joins us here. And Micah Parsons going to Green Bay. It's something I did not see coming when we started the show today, but you just look at that group and you said all the first-round picks were Sean Gary, Devontae Wyatt, Quay Walker, Edgerrin Cooper. Like, this team has so much talent on the back end and in the offensive side of the football, really good too. So just very quickly, want to ask you about Matthew Golden. The team takes a receiver in the 1st round for the first time, and you would know, I don't know off the top of my head. How has he looked in camp, and do you expect him to be the clear-cut number 1 option for Jordan Love?
Yeah, it was 23 years. I was 7 or 8 years old when Christmas morning I got a Javon Walker number 84 jersey. And
Broncos
he was
legend.
the last rookie wide receiver. Yeah. And ultimately, it took 23 years for them to be able to break that run. It's not like they didn't grab top flight wide receivers. They got one that could be HOF and Devontae Adams, and a couple others that were pretty phenomenal in the 2nd round, but never committed that 1st round tag to it until this year with Golden, and he's lived up to the billing, guys. I've been lucky enough. It's a pretty stupidly fortunate position that I'm in, doing the post-game show for the team, that I get to do my daily show that we do in the morning from practice. Every public practice, we have a perch right in the middle of the stands, and we talk for 3 hours. They practice for 2 of it, and we talk and watch. And Matthew Golden every single day made a play that you could audibly hear through the headsets, made the fans say wow and cheer, because his speed is legit. At 4.28 or 4.29, I think it was clocked in at the combine at. He has right now speed. And I think the reason and the trait that could be game-breaking in the NFL is it doesn't appear that he breaks stride to catch the football, right? There's some guys that he's a natural catcher of the ball. It doesn't surprise him when the ball gets there, so he doesn't have to slow it all. He's got extreme acceleration. it feels like sky's the limit for him. And I'm not going to say have tried to keep it a little bit of a secret, but I think the secret's getting out that they may have really hit on this wide receiver from Texas. And pair that up with Jordan Love, who, even though he was dinged up last year and the counting stats were down because he missed a number of games, I thought had a good year, not a great year, not a rising year in terms of where he was at and elevating his status in the league. But he's a top 15 quarterback at worst. And in that grouping, there's some guys that can be ascending and more that look like they'd be descending. He's one of the ascending players at that position. And this year, he's got an opportunity to vault himself into a tier that you only get to if you have team success. And you got to be able to stop teams on defense to be able to do it. And you get guys like Micah Parsons to do that.
Now, Bill, unofficial prediction now. Who wins the division? Because the Lions, Vikings, Pack, all going to be competitive. The Bears, I would think, improving. Does this give Green Bay the edge?
There's a Play Alberta tag that I heard before this, right? So there is legalized. So there is legalized sports wagering where I'm speaking here in Edmonton.
Yes, sir.
I was in on the Edmonton Oilers, and I'm hopefully going to win that money that I lost during the Cup final back on the Packers. I'll make the official prediction. I do think the Packers win the division, and I've said it for a number of weeks, if not months, on our show, because I believe that they have a roster that, again, has a large number of ascending players. And even though I think Dan Campbell's phenomenal, I don't believe that he gets the credit that he rightfully deserves for, one, the offensive mind that he is, and the insane motivator that he is at the professional level to get those teams to play above their expected potential, but with the talent that's on those teams. And they have really, really good talent on that Detroit Lions team. They've whooped up on the Packers in 5 of the last 6 appearances, if not 7 of the last 8. And Campbell has a really good record against Matt LaFleur teams because they've physically beaten up on Green Bay. I don't believe that's the case now. And I do believe losing 2 coordinators, even though Campbell's good and really, really good, I think they take a step back. I love Aaron Jones. He's a Packers Hall of Famer. He plays 17 games again in Minnesota, and I would be surprised. I think they take a step back with McCarthy. And even if the Bears are better, and they were a good team last year, don't get that twisted. They were in a ton of one-score games and probably should have won more of them. You look at that schedule and find me 10 wins, and I like to be convinced. I think they have a very, very tough path to winning enough games to headline this division. I don't think a team's winning 15 like Detroit did last year. I think 13 does it, and I think Green Bay wins the NFC North.
Micah Parsons to Green Bay, Camp Randall tonight, Wisconsin and Miami, Ohio. Jump around's going to hit differently tonight, I think.
Lord, I hope so. Guys, I'm pulling up here in a few to Camp Randall. I also do post games for the Badgers radio network, and they need to get a good start, a fast start. Last year, they played Western Michigan in one of these BU-wide buy games where you pay a team, upwards of $1 million to come in and hopefully get mollywopped. Well, the Badgers were losing when jump around hit. So they're 17.5-point favorites. Hopefully they play like it tonight. And there's a lot more people that want to talk Micah Parsons after the game than the Badgers after.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. This is the best time of the year. Bill, thanks so much for doing this today. I really do appreciate your time. And we'll have to get you on again later on in the season.
Call anytime, man. Thanks for having me on.
There you go. That was Bill Schmidt. Packers and Badgers post-game host out of Wisconsin. And what a time to be a Wisconsin football fan. College season getting going tonight. Jump around. For my money, best college football tradition. There's some other good ones, don't get me wrong. And I think sometimes it almost works against them because the opposing teams really get into it. But going to be quite the atmosphere tonight in Wisconsin. I will take a break here. When we come back, we'll get to more of your text, the Oil Report, and more on the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Listen up, because you're not going to want to miss this. Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's biggest offer ever. For a limited time only, new players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit PlayAlberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Since 1963, Bashaw Concrete Products has been helping Albertans complete projects of all sizes. The highest quality ready mix and grout, septic tanks made to last, prompt delivery. Like I said, they're always happy to help. In fact, they'll even find you a nearby concrete finisher for your next project. Maybe it's a foundation for a home or a shop floor, or you're thinking decorative concrete. Nice. They'll recommend someone as dependable as Bashaw Concrete Products. Visit bashawconcrete.com and follow them on Facebook.
Ritchie Brothers Auctioneers presents a massive 3-day unreserved heavy equipment auction at their Nisku site, September 3rd to 5th, 8 a.m. Live online bidding on offer core construction heavy equipment, trucks, trailers, nearly every industry covered. Register to bid online. It's free. Priority bids start August 29th. On-site viewing all weekend. Timed auction starts August 29th. Demand for equipment is strong. Contact your local territory manager to consign. More at rbauction.com.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 Triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
Portion of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. We treat pain and injuries head to toe and some other issues that might surprise you, like inconvenience, vertigo, neuropathy, and cognitive issues. We invest in the technology, techniques, skills, and people who know how to do what to fix. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com. Oh,
He's not just another pair of glasses. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for checking out Edmonton Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's 5:46. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley, Donovan Paulson, Josh Fenwick with you here. The Jason Gregor Show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Code word Gregor50 with your deposit. That's going to get you a free $50 bet. Hey, maybe you want to throw to the Badgers tonight. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. Use your game sense. GameSenseAB.ca. Also tonight it is the Daily Grand. $1,000 a day for 20 years. That's $7.3 million at PlayAlberta.ca. Text line 1-833-441-1440. We should tell you, if you are out there and you want to go down to Laney Wilson tomorrow night at Rogers Place, we've got 2 tickets up for grabs, auction style. Raising money for SACE, the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton, recently had some severe funding cuts, and we're trying to raise some cash for them. So right now, goalie Greg, big bet, $1,000 in the lead. But if you want to go to Laney Wilson tomorrow night down at Rogers Place, you can make a bid at 1-833-441-1440. Phone call or text line. Raising money for SACE. You'll get free parking, also getting a free dinner. But, you don't get that very often. So if you want to go check that out, you can get that bid in quickly. We've only got about 8 minutes left on the show. So send those in, 1-833-441-1440. Also here, I do want to get into the oil report, brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. Discovery Day sales on now. Finance or lease a 2026 XC40 from 2.99%. Great vehicles, better service, only at volvocarsedmonton.com. Donovan, earlier in the show, you asked the question about who could potentially be re-signing for the Oilers, and I think we all kind of were on the Wallman track after McDavid. If you are Jake Wallman, are you in any rush to get that deal done, or are you kind of waiting it out like, let's see how I play? Maybe I earn a little bit more money.
If I was Jake Wallman, I would be waiting on this puppy. I would be in no rush whatsoever. However, in saying that, like, he is going to turn 30 during the season, right? So I'd probably wait it out because I think he realizes that he is going to get paid, and the longer he waits, probably the more money he's going to receive. And also, of course, like there's always that risk that you just absolutely stink the joint up during the season, and things don't go your way, and you start to lose money and you lose value. But if I was Wallman, I'd be waiting it out. But I fully expect Jake Wallman to be an Edmonton Oiler past next season.
Yeah, I think it's a good spot for him. Obviously, like, the goal is to win Stanley Cups. This is where you want to be. If the price is right, and I'm sure it will be, fair value, you make that deal. Vasily Podkolzin, no rush if I'm him. Like you said, RFA, probably going to, well, I would hope upgrade his offensive statistics. If he can do so, I mean, and Leon Draisaitl likes having him on the squad. No reason to not make that deal and make that long-term commitment.
Yeah, if you're Vasily Podkolzin, I mean, well, that is the ultimate wait and see. If he upgrades the offensive game by, I don't know, if he even scores 15 goals next year, Vasily Podkolzin earns himself an easy extra $1 million. Easy. Yeah. Right? If he scores more than that, he might earn himself an extra $2 million. Who knows? Podkolzin is the ultimate. I know that there's other guys that have called the ultimate wild card this offseason. In respect to Domasek and some of the rookies coming in, whether it's Howard or Savoy, but man, I look at Vasily Podkolzin as my wild card for this season. Like, did he get a skills coach this offseason? Did he develop that shot a little bit more? The ability to pick a corner, the finishing ability. Like, there's so many ways that Vasily Podkolzin can improve his game. I love his defensive game. I love the tenacity. I love a lot of what he does. He's almost, in my mind, he's almost my favorite type of player. Like, he brings the lunch pail, he works really hard, but he just needs to find that finish and find a little bit more of it. Even if he can score 6 more goals, I'd be happy. But we'll see. He's got a lot of work to do, and if he has a great season, he's going to get rewarded.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's kind of that situation where if you're him, like, why would you? Sound like you got to bet on yourself. And we've seen that in the past many times. PK Subban bet on himself, got paid. Darnell Nurse a couple times took the bridge deal, bet on himself, he got paid. I think maybe the Oilers organization at some point probably said, maybe we should have given him a long-term deal earlier. But hey, it would require truth serum to know that for sure. A couple more texts before we wrap up. Jordan says, this guy's a beauty, referring to Bill Schmid. Yeah, he's awesome. And that was a big time for him to come on here. Breaking news out of Wisconsin, and he's on his way to watch another football game, but gave us 15 minutes of time. So yeah, big fans of Bill Schmid over here at Sports 1440. Wolfpack says, Packers fan here. This feels like a Reggie White or Charles Woodson in their prime. Difference maker. Absolutely. I mean, Charles Woodson, when he went to Green Bay, I think he was a little bit older. Reggie White, before my time. I know the impact he had. One of the best to ever do it. But yeah, Parson is just 26 years old. Like, that's ridiculous. 26 years old, moving on from the Cowboys to the Green Bay Packers. Mitchell says, it's not like Podkolzin wasn't trying to be good offensively in his life. Thinking he's working on offensive skill for the first time is wild. He's a straight line guy with a decent brain. But I think the acquisition of the team bringing in a skills coach doesn't hurt. Like, it can only improve his game.
You want to know the ultimate counterpoint to what he just said?
What's that?
Chris Kreider. Chris Kreider went from a 20-goal scorer to a guy who scored 52. That's what a skills coach can do at the very peak.
Did you ever in your mind think Leon Draisaitl will become a 50-goal scorer year to year?
No.
We're not saying Podkolzin's that.
No.
But if you add 10 to 15 goals, 5 to 10, like that's money in the bank.
Like a good skills coach, and I mean, there's plenty out there. There's Adam Oates. There's plenty of guys who have gone on record and said, we're skills coaches. We help develop your game, your shot, whatever you need us to help develop. I mean, listen, I'm sure Vasily Podkolzin's tried to work on his offensive game by himself before, but there's something different about going to his skills coach. There's time and time again, there's been multiple players over their NHL careers that you listen to them talk. I mean, hell, I mean, we've heard Rich Winter use the Chris Kreider example with a skills coach before too. Like, going from 20 goals to 52, that just doesn't happen overnight. That is a lot of off-season work on your offensive game, going to the front of the net, tipping pucks, just trying to get your hands better. there's a million things that I could critique about Vasily Podkolzin's offensive game. And if he even improves, let's just say he improves his tipping. If he tips a couple more pucks in a couple better areas, maybe he scores an extra 4 goals. Like that's the difference is when you get that skills coach, sometimes it can make, 10 goals difference.
Well, and just a quicker release playing with Leon Draisaitl, right? Taking pucks a little bit quicker. Half a second is going to make a difference. And when you're playing with Leon Draisaitl, your head's on a swivel, you're ready to fire that biscuit. I mean, it can make a difference. So we'll have to wait and see. I mean, hey, this guy, the bar is low, but adding 5 to 10 goals gets him a little bit more money and obviously probably secures his spot on the team for maybe a few more years, gets him that extension. Great show today. Big thank you to all of our guests today for hopping on. Of course, we started off with John Hodge back in the 2 o'clock hour. David Owens joined us from Sherbrooke Liquor for Thirsty Thursday. Of course, you want to go check our social media platforms. We got the pictures of all the beverages we had. Former NFLer, well, still current NFLer, really. Still could get back into the game. Braden Fajoko joined us for a couple segments talking about his career, looking around the NFL. Check that one out. Lena Betker from SACE. Terry Ryan, former NHLer, was there. Shang Peng from San Jose. We had Speck. And, of course, Bill Schmidt joined us from Green Bay talking about the Micah Parsons trade. So, busy show. Check it out on YouTube, Apple, Google, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast from. You can do so. And right now, unless we get a last-minute text, it looks like goalie Greg is going to win the tickets for Laney Wilson tomorrow night down at Rogers Place. Amalgamated Mining, thank you guys. Huge donation for the tickets and $1,000 raised to SACE. So a big thank you to everyone involved in that. For Donovan Paulson and Josh Fenwick, also Wanya Gretz. I'm Connor Halley. Thank you guys for tuning into the show today. We'll be back to do it again tomorrow. Before we hand things over to Fox Sports Radio, we will get to a Sports 1440 update brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Lotto Max, 30 mil tomorrow. Today it's the Daily Grand, $1,000 a day, 20 years, $7.3 million. Get it at PlayAlberta.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
In case you missed it, the big news of the day, of course, Micah Parsons getting traded from the Dallas Cowboys to the Green Bay Packers on a 4-year extension carrying an AAV of $47 million, 136 guaranteed, possibility of $188 million. MLB scores from earlier in the day. The Red Sox, they edged out the Orioles 3-2. The D-backs over the Brewers 6-4. It was the Astros holding strong against the Rockies 4-3. The Cards over the Pirates 4-1. And the Giants edged out the Cubbies 4-3. Your U.S. Open tennis action, Felix Auger-Aliassime currently up in his first set match. And you saw Denis Shapovalov advance past the round of 64. Coming up, it's Fox Sports here on Sports 1440. I'm Donovan Paulson. That's your Sports 1440 update.